What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yay! Hooray!
This week, we are finishing up our Matrix trilogy before the new one. So we got another Matrix to do. Matrix 3 Revolutions. That's what it is. Very exciting,
of the
exciting
Matrix
stuff.
Quadrilogy.
Yeah, and we're not going to do the video game. We're not going to do the book that it's based on, but not like based on, but like we're not going to do the comic book that it definitely ripped off, and we're not going to do the Animatrix, which we've talked about once or twice, so like that's fine.
The Animatrix, which proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the machines were right. They were correct, morally correct in what they did to the humans. And we should be rooting for them in these movies.
Like I
already do.
Yeah, I kind of am until a certain point in this movie, which we'll talk about. But when a brave new hero comes into play, the greatest character in any of these movies. Maybe we've met him before, but boy, we'll talk about it. You guys, before that, big week for the world, you know, big stuff.
Oh my god, huge week.
What's an entertainment thing that happened this week?
We got a Spider-Verse trailer.
Oh yeah,
one,
what'd you think of that?
I liked it. Yeah, seems like we're gonna just get every Spider-Man.
He's
every Spider-Man.
He's a big boy now. He grew a lot.
He's got his big underwear. He's a big boy.
I was watching that while.
A big boy.
That's
true.
That's true. I was watching that while we were doing my Patreon book club where we were talking about superior foes of Spider-Man, and it was like 8 o'clock or whatever, and I was like, guys, let's take a break and watch the Spider-Man trailer together. And we did it all the way we watched videos on this podcast at the same time, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, and then we did that with the Morbius clip that got dropped like a second later. He's back, baby. Dr. Michael Morbius at your service.
At your service.
They are making that movie. Regardless of evidence to the contrary, it is going to come out. We're all going to watch it.
So says you.
So
excited.
Sir.
So says you.
I think it's going to be the movie of 2023.
I mean,
wait, what?
It certainly better not be. Otherwise, I don't know what happened in 2022.
Tell. Yeah, was that like? Do you think it's going to be delayed a year? I can't tell. Well, until we see it, then we'll know.
I mean, maybe they'll re-release it in January of 2023. You know, to get Oscar buzz that year. Maybe that'll be what it's up to, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
you know, it's gonna come back in theaters when it gets nominated for Best Picture for 2022. You know, they often re-release the Best Picture nominees, yeah.
I feel like that might be I don't really know what to expect this next year and like what's going to be the fun podcast, but that might be one of my most anticipated ones of next year, just talking about Morbius, you know?
Can I say, I think there's a special kind of joy in going to like a big mainstream release in late November or December, and getting to see the trailers for whatever trash they're willing to shovel out in January.
Hell yeah. It's Michael Morbius at your service. What else? Anything else that you've seen trailers for? I can't think
there's
of any
that
off the top of my...
Lady Spy movie, the 355, I think.
What is that?
Weird number name like that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
It's like international lady spies are teaming up to do some kind of spy thing. It's like kind of like a Mission Impossible James Bond thing, but they're all ladies, and boy, does the trailer not let us forget that.
No, girl boss.
Diggins wants his man spies, if you ask me.
I'm not opposed to the concept. It just seems like it's going to be very bad, and it's coming out in January, which makes me think the studio will also thinks it'll be very bad.
Also, like, I mean, I don't know. It's probably based off a comic because that name is so dumb. But if it's not, that like the idea of a pitch of like it's like ladies but spies. It's like we've done that quite a few times. Charlie's Angels is a pretty big franchise. Like there was a whole movie called Spy. Not to say that movie can't be done, but usually then it's like, what else is interesting about it? Holy shit, do you know who directed it?
Who?
Oh, this is somebody. This is somebody, baby.
Who directed the 355?
Yeah, I'll give you a hint. Okay, so he's directed a couple of things, not very many.
Paul Feig.
No. He is best known for directing one movie. Actually, so he's only directed one movie.
It's the 355.
Besides the 355, I give up. It's Simon Kinberg, director of X-Men Dark Phoenix, and a bunch of other X-Men related producer credits and stuff. So,
oh man, everyone loved Dark Phoenix, so I imagine that this movie will be just as good.
I think you're right. Now I'm actually kind of excited, but it's gotta be. This has to be a comic or something like that. Maybe not. I'm looking at it now. It looks like it might just be Agent 355 is a spy for the Patriots during the American Revolution.
Cool.
So like that's what the name comes from. Huh.
Still
I'm not gonna lie.
comic.
For a second, when you said a spy for the Patriots, I was like, "Is this gonna take a hard left turn into Metal Gear Solid?"
Oh, I was gonna say, is this a hard left turn? I thought you were gonna say, to Spygate. There were times the Patriots used cameras to record the jets. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, Nando.
One of the many recorded instances of the Patriots cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
More okay, here's you want
Tom and Flady. Oh God.
Tom and Flady. Oh, man.
Flady.
I was going to say that's the opposite of what he did.
Yeah. I got some production notes about 355 for you, and maybe it'll be good. Who knows? Jessica Chastain proposed the idea for a female-led spy movie in the same spirit as Mission Impossible and James Bond to her Dark Phoenix director, Simon Kinberg, while in production of that film. The concept was built upon, and in May 2018, it was directed that he would make the movie. So, like... Yeah, it's not even a comic. It's nothing. It's just, wouldn't it be cool if we did that, but with me instead? Instead of Mission Impossible being Tom Cruise, what if I was the Tom Cruise?
What if I was Jane Bond?
Yeah, very good, Jessica. I mean, I like Jessica Chastain. The end. I'm trying to remember. I feel like she has some real iffy projects for me. Like, she's one of those actresses where I'm like...
Like Molly's Game?
Huntsman. I have a list. So, I mean, like, she's in a lot of good stuff. And that's part of the trouble with her. Like, she's not easy to pin down. Which is, I'm sure, great for her. And I like her in, like, what's the thing that I feel like... I don't know. I didn't see the Bin Laden movie. I'm sure that was fine. But like, yeah, she does like, you know, It Chapter 2, Molly's Game, Mrs. Sloan, Huntsman.
Hey, look, I know that Chapter 2 people were mostly not so hot on, but I remember Chapter 1 people liking a lot.
Oh yeah, Chapter 1 was good. Chapter 2 was not good. It's really weird too. If DJ, I think it's specifically DJ, but I guess if you guys could get over horror movie problems, it's a weird ass movie, and like it could potentially be interesting to nitpick, but also I feel like the time has passed. But yeah, like everything fun about the first movie doesn't work with the adults. So like this, because the second movie is the one with the adults. So
right.
Hence why
like
Jessica
Interstellar.
Chastain's in it.
That's right.
Because she's an adult.
She is an adult. Yeah,
Adult.
Good for her. So yeah. She's fine. She's good. She's great. She's in a Tammy Faye Baker movie, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, right? And that like is already out. And then she's also in a movie called a series called George and Tammy, but that's a different Tammy. Okay. She's just trying to hit the cycle on Tammys. She's got all the yeah. I can't even think of any other famous Tammys, so she might have done it. This might be it.
Yeah, well, that might be the idea. It's like, you know, you start small. You want to play every famous, you know, person name. And, you know, Tammy's a nice, simple, easy one to start. Not like a certain Keanu Reeves who aimed for the fences with famous Johns.
He really is. And he's got more on the burner. You couldn't even believe it. There's so many Johns and maybe even characters that are like, that guy might as well be a John. Neo may as well be a John. His name is...
I mean, it's Thomas Anderson. It's close. It should have been John Anderson.
Yeah.
Jamis Anderson.
Jamis. Love me a good Jamis.
Mr. Jomderson. He's just... Yeah, he's great as Johns. And I don't think there's an actor that exists in the whole world that has picked such a name. Like, just gone, all my characters are named Tim. And just done it as much as Keanu Reeves has. That's why I think he's going to be... I think there's a good chance he's going to be Ghost Rider. I really do. Just based on Johnny-ness alone. I think if they recast and don't do Cage again, it'll be him.
I mean, let's be honest. They should do Cage again, but...
They should. I do too.
I feel like if they recast Ghost Rider, though, they'll go for the newer Ghost Rider. And
See,
not
but
Johnny Blaze.
they did him in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. So, like, they seem like they want to maybe keep distance from that. And also, there was a rumor that he might stick around. So, Gabriel, what's his name? It's not Gabriel Luna, is it? It might be.
That's not it.
No, it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Rick Diggins.
So he was,
Oh, you mean the actor?
Yeah, he was Robbie Reyes in the season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sorry.
Which is almost certainly not canon.
I thought you were asking what was the name of the Ghost Rider?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's, like, there's a couple, what they could do is they could do the third, they could do Danny Ketch, the, like, badass 90s one that everyone hates, but I don't know. And I feel like they'll probably
classic
do Nicolas Cage or, like, Johnny Blaze again.
I mean, who amongst us is shocked that Zack Snyder hasn't come up with a way to bring Azrael into the Batman movies?
Yeah. It's funny because, like, yeah, Zack Snyder did, Dark Knight Returns in his Batman v Superman, like, movie. And that's, like, I want to say, like, an 80s story or something. But he could have really had a lot of fun with 90s characters and just, like, the 90s aesthetic. Like, it feels like it fits him. But
he feels like a man who's never left the 90s.
Yeah, like a Rob Liefeld or something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with him. I forget if we don't like him. I don't know.
Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane, yeah, there you go. Same guy, as far as I'm concerned.
They're both very 90s.
Yeah.
Have you seen the old intros to the Spawn TV show? That's just Todd McFarlane speaking into the camera?
Mm-hmm. About, like, hell and stuff. And, like, it's awesome. Yeah. Have you ever seen those, DJ?
No, I have not.
Let me see if I can find one. I mean, it's not that important, but I do want to show it to you later. So, like, yeah, and I'll just put it in the chat to enjoy. Yeah, he's pretty funny. But you guys, speaking of things that are 90s-y, although this didn't take place in the 90s, but, whatever. We gotta talk about this thing. Matrix 3. Matrix 3.
Resurrections.
You guys, this is the third one.
That's true, yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah, accurate. All right.
That's it's very clear.
Nando has very short declarative statements today.
That's right.
He likes Jessica Chastain, and Matrix Resurrections is the third movie.
That's
incorrect.
Right.
Matrix Resurrections is the fourth one.
That's
right.
Matrix.
Damn it, Nando was right. These are hard.
Exactly.
Matrix Revolutions is the third one.
Yes. Now you see. Damn
it, Nando was right.
Hashtag Nando was right. Remember in Hawkeye where he drinks out of the Thanos is right mug this week, Dickens? It's like,
yeah.
I don't know, man. That guy's your Hitler. I feel like it's a little much. I get other characters drinking out of it. If, like, Moon Knight was drinking out of it, I'd be like, yeah, he's... But, like, Hawkeye, his friend died at Thanos the other day. Like...
But he's just drinking out of whatever mug he could find in this apartment that's not his, right? So it's not like it's his mug.
That's true. Wait, when did that mug get made?
Maybe just during the blip. Blip day one. Oh,
yeah,
so
do you
much
think
better.
people are minting Thanos' right, like, merch during the blip?
I thought you were going to say minting Thanos was right NFTs.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Twerking Thanos was right NFTs.
I mean, with all of the resources and, all of the abundance that Thanos gave us by snapping away half the population, we would be fools not to waste it on NFTs,
That's how Thanos should have been defeated. He should have, like, done it. He wiped out half the population. Then he just, like, looks like, the abundance of... wait, they got back up to regular energy output already? What's a Bitcoin?
I mean, like, he snaps and does the halves thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, but, like, and it seems to think, like, or it seems to be the case that he could do it once. Maybe twice if he got a gauntlet on the other hand, but, like, eventually he'd run out of hands. If you did believe in the Thanos nonsense, could other people just do that every couple of years? Like, just pass the glove to a different guy, be like, okay, Hulk, you're doing it now. And then, like, I don't know, Fing Fang Foom, you're doing it now. And just,
I guess if you get people on board, I guess.
But, like, there's no reason that it's got to be a one and done.
Thanos could have kept doing it. He he was weakened and whatever because he used the stones to destroy themselves so that nobody could undo it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's... Well, when we see the first stoning happen, or like post first snap, he's all fucked up. Like the gauntlet is all burnt. It seems like it does, like... I feel like he got half of that way from the first one. Like, I don't know why I think that, though. But you're right. Like, he does have a little weak arm post doing it twice. I don't know.
It exacts a toll.
But, like, yeah, there's a finite amount of times that Thanos could do it. But, yeah, then you could just pass the gauntlet to other people. Just keep doing it. Or just, like... Or because I guess this works more the other way when people are like, well, didn't you double the resources? And, like... good point, but also it might not work exactly that way because you'd still need more resources. But it's like, have somebody do that every couple of years. I don't know. Pass the gauntlet around. Breed Hulks in a little, like a little lab or something, and they do it once a year.
I like the idea of breeding Hulks like they're just like Pokemon or horses or whatever.
Maybe that's what General Ross really wanted to do,
Hulk eggs.
Yeah.
Put Hulk out to stud.
Yeah. That's why he started with the daughter. He was like, oh, man. Just going right. Like, as long as you fuck anybody but my daughter, Hulk, hey, okay, this is going to be great. And Hulk was like, I hate you so much, I'm going to fuck your daughter. And then,
fuck your daughter, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's like when the farmer you're staying with warns you not to touch any of his 3 beautiful daughters. It's like, how can you resist?
I know, right? That happened in Schmigadoon. Did you guys watch Schmigadoon?
No. I've heard it's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. The daughter thing. Anyway, The Matrix. We saw it, right?
Revolutions.
What do we think of Revolutionaries? Matrix Rev... Oh, wait, no, we got to do the game.
Yeah, we have to do the IMDb, B as in spelling bee.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Classic segment.
This is going to be
Nando,
mess.
you get to pick whether or not to go first or not.
I will go second. I do want to take a second to think about this.
Well, Diggins, whenever you're ready, you get the floor for what you think the IMDb summary is of The Matrix Revolutions.
Okay. The thrilling conclusion to the Wachowskis. Wachowskis? I don't know how to say it.
I think it's usually Cha, but like it's one of those things where maybe I've heard it wrong my whole life, and we all just decided on the wrong thing. That happens all the time.
Yeah. The thrilling conclusion to the Wachowskis' Matrix trilogy, Matrix Revolutions, sees Neo headed to a dramatic final conclusion, to a dramatic final showdown, rather, with Agent Smith as the machine army bears down on the last human city of Zion.
Okay, I think I've got it.
Okay.
All right. The freedom fighters of humanity's freedom fighters make their last stand against the machines as Neo and Trinity make a different, similar last stand. As Neo and Trinity attempt to stop Mr. Smith and save the Matrix once and for all. Also, I'm going to throw some sounds in here. Bang, bang, kaplooey. Does that help my case?
Okay. I'm not going to say anything, but I want a tiebreaker.
Okay.
It might not even be a tiebreaker. I just want a second part to the game because this is fun.
So what
on
do
the
you
poster, on the poster, there is a phrase. It's kind of like a tagline, and it's above the title. If you guys each give me a guess for what you think the tagline is.
Okay. I'm gonna say. Here's what I'll say. I'm gonna say. I don't know if all right. I want to say the tagline is "The choice is yours," but I don't think that's it. But something like that.
It's a good one, Diggins.
Enter the finale.
Oh.
Okay, so I will say this. It's a line in the movie. Can we give it another shot, Nando?
It's not those sounds I made at the end of mine.
It's not the sounds you made.
I know what it is.
Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Let's give Nando a shot and then dig and see if you can get it.
I really don't have a guess. Let's see.
All right, Diggy, you want to go for it?
I do.
Yeah, what do you got?
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, fuck. Yep.
Everything that has a beginning has an end. I will say, Diggins, I was going to give it to you regardless, but this will seal it. So you were both close, but Diggins said more of the correct phrases, if not in the wrong order, but they were like very close to the actual phrases. So the summary is: the human city of Zion defends itself against the massive invasion of the machines as Neo fights to end the war at another front while also opposing the rogue Agent Smith. So, like, Diggins, you had it in, like, the wrong order, but you had, like, the three main clauses of human city of Zion defense while Neo goes to fight the rogue Agent Smith. So, yeah. Congratulations, Diggins.
Are we sure about that? I feel like mine was pretty good.
All right, people can go back, but like Diggins said, like the human city of Zion, and you just said Zion, and you threw like a couple extraneous things in there. It just, and look, I could be wrong, and people, you could go and say, no, Nando was right.
I think DJ is absolutely correct about this one, and I think we should honor his fair and impartial judgment.
I'm fine with honoring it. However, I do want the fans, Roger specifically, probably to, I don't know, get angry at DJ or something. Not get angry at DJ. Direct your hate towards IMDb, I guess.
No, you can hate me. It's fine. And you know what it is? Like, Diggins had all the extraneous details of like the final conclusion, whatever, and I'm like, oh, this is way off. But then like he got like the main points more exactly. I'm sorry, Nando. I'm sorry.
Really interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Go back and listen, and maybe I'm way off. But then also he got the bullshit tiebreaker of everything that has a beginning has an end.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it was a line in the movie to start because I'm like, that's too much of a dead giveaway. But after I said that, Diggins knew. He knew.
Yeah.
So. And Nando got to go before me, so he still could have gotten it.
That's true. I had no idea. I couldn't remember any lines in this movie. Besides, like, you know, some bullshit like, they broke it through or something. There's a lot of that.
It is the one thing that like gets said a lot.
Yeah, it does get said a few times. You're right.
It's even the big, like, I don't know what you would call it, like not like final blow, but it's like this weird like climax line that like signals the true end of the movie, which is kind of weird, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. So
also, not true, because we're getting this Resurrections movie, which is either a new beginning or a not end. I don't know which way you want to go with it.
They didn't say that this was the end. They just said that everything that has a beginning has an end.
And also,
there very well may be one later.
No matter how many new Matrix movies they make, eventually there's going to be a last one.
Exactly. Maybe they were just talking about this movie, where it's like everything that has a beginning of a movie, also has an end of the movie. And that was true.
That is true. So, Diggins, as our illustrious winner, would you like to give us your thoughts on the Matrix Revolutions?
Absolutely, I would.
Okay.
So, as I have reiterated repeatedly over the course of our Matrix retrospective, I have never seen the second or third movies until we've done it for this podcast. I'd seen the first one, but well after the hype period, like in the 2010s. So today, in fact, was the first time I have ever laid eyes upon the Matrix Revolutions. But I had heard lots of things about it. I know people generally consider it pretty bad. I knew generally about the big ending fight scene, although I wasn't really sure how it ended or how we got there. But yeah, I had all that in my mind, and you know, at the end I was like, why do people think this movie's so bad?
Hey!
This movie's pretty good, actually. It's not perfect. I understand what Nando was saying about the Zion parts. They're not so hot. And then the middle section goes on too long and doesn't involve anyone we care about. And that makes it kind of drag on and not be that interesting. So I think that really could have used some restructuring or just cutting altogether. Or drastically shortening. But the general arc of it, of like Neo's journey and like what he goes through in this movie, I don't know. It kind of works for me. I think it's a good conclusion to this trilogy. And I think it mostly works on the level of kind of weird pseudo-philosophy symbolism that the whole trilogy has been going for. So, yeah, I mean, despite its reputation, I ended up having a pretty good time with this.
Nice. And now for a completely different thought, Nando, what are your feelings on this movie?
I think Matrix Reloaded is okay. And everything I said about it last week was unfair because this movie stinks. I think everything I liked about Matrix 1 has been, like, just, there's none of it is left, like, by the end of this movie. All the cool practical fighting, most of the characters that were interesting, all of the stakes, all of the color, everything, and all the style, everything is just bled out of this movie. And I understand. I like parts of it. I appreciate the Wachowskis' like vision and you know, taking chances and stuff. And some of the effects do look pretty good. Like, I don't think this movie has nearly as many dodgy effects as the last one. And I see where Diggins is coming from in terms of, like, Neo has an arc, and that's fine. But Jesus Christ, this movie is everything that I don't like about these movies. And it's so drab. It's just explosions and just there's one bit. Here's this whole movie for me in like a nutshell. First of all, Morpheus isn't in it, so I already don't like it. Like, he's in it, but he's barely in it. Like, that little kid has more screen time than Morpheus, I have to guess. And if not, it's close. There's one point where I forget what exactly the maneuver is, or like the moment of drama is, but like everybody's fighting the robots, and they fight him. And then something happens, and everybody goes, "Yay!" And then one of the guys goes, "Oh no, another thing," or something. There's also a moment where the kid's trying to put the ammo into the big mech thing, and he goes like this. It's like, "I can't do it." And then we cut to the guy in the mech going, "Gah, gah, 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 gah," and then he's like, "I did it." And then he runs away. And it's just like, man, there's so much nothing in this movie. And then we didn't even talk about but like, I don't know. I think some of the stuff in the beginning is kind of cool with Smith and stuff, and like that bit. But I don't really care for the Neo end very much, and I extra don't care for the middle stuff. So like, as a finale to this trilogy, and especially as like I know you loved 1, so what do you think of 3? It's like, man, they're not even similar at all, these movies. Like, it's no fun. There's no, I don't know. And it feels very like, the way the first movie was something really new and cool, and obviously it was still taking a lot of stuff from, like, you know, like from, I don't know, like kung fu movies and stuff. This one and like cowboy movies and Jesus and all the iconography and all that shit that the first movie, you know, like draws upon.
Can't forget my boy Jesus.
Yeah. Oh God, can you not in like Zack Snyder wishes he was able to do a Jesus symbol as rough as the one 2/3 of the way through this one, where a cross comes out of Neo. Jesus. But
that's the end, not 2/3.
That's true. That is closer to the end. What was I gonna say? Wait, where was I?
There's so much Jesus.
Yeah. In the middle of this movie, we just do Starship Troopers, but with no irony, and like it's just so, I don't know. It's such a bummer as an end to Matrix 1, a movie I really, really like. I think the rule of the Matrix is, for me, the more Matrix is in your movie, the more I like it. And the more Zion is in the movie, the less I like it. And all of the parts of any of these I like is Matrix stuff. And so this one has very little of that, so it is not as good. What about you, DJ? What do you think?
So I think I'm dead in the middle. I agree with a lot of what you said, Nando. I don't hate the Zion stuff that's in Reloaded. I despise most of the Zion stuff that's in this movie. I like, just to specifically talk about that for a second, because I think it's for me where my biggest problem stems from. And Nando, I 100% agree that the more Matrix, the better. You know, it's like, we're opening with like, oh, the crew doesn't have Neo. They got to face off against the Merovingian. What's gonna happen? And it's like, actually, nothing. Don't worry about it.
And like all
that so quick.
All the iconography and fun stuff from any of these movies is all in the Matrix. Like
yeah.
So it's something that I didn't not know before, but this movie really showed me like what is missing. And it's like, oh yeah, all the Matrix stuff.
Yeah. So where I was going. So I think the biggest problem with the whole Zion of it all is that like because I know the stakes are like if humanity loses, it's game over, right? Like that, and obviously those are pretty big stakes. But I feel that I know that it is all on Neo, and that Niobe says 2 destinations, 2 ships seems like Providence, but like in the second movie with the 3 things, it's like, oh, everyone has a purpose, and it's like you have no purpose to go to Zion. It doesn't matter. This is all on Neo. We should all be trying to get him to the Machine City. Fuck breaking up, right? So I think I really struggled with how to take in this movie as a part of the story when I do, like Diggins said, like Neo's arc. I wasn't so opposed to what happened there. It's just that the Zion stuff felt so empty, and I just didn't know what to do with it. The council's like, I guess we're ready to die, and the commander's like, yeah, we're all gonna die, and it's just like, there's nothing here for me as a viewer. So then for the movie as a whole, because half of the movie is Zion, I'm just like, can I fast forward this? Like, I much prefer the conflict with Bane and Neo on the ship. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Despite my misgivings about what I said about Reloaded, I actually do think that there's something there as opposed to everything else. So I come like dead in the middle in this movie. Fine with Neo, love Matrix stuff, hate the Zion stuff. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, but I guess I also kind of came around on Bane just because a lot of the rest of this movie is so boring. And not like boring, but like nothing that really interests me. But like the Bane doing that guy, do you think they hired him specifically doing an impression of what's his name? And they were like,
Hugo Weaving?
Yeah, like you do the Hugo Weaving voice because
so.
he fucking nailed it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Honestly, for a little while there, I thought he actually was just Hugo Weaving.
Was Hugo Weaving
too.
with a beard? Yeah. I have a question for Diggins. So
I have an answer for DJ.
I know you said that you like
That's perfect because DJ has a question for Diggins. Oh, sorry, go on.
So I know you said you like the philosophy bits, and like there's stuff there in the beginning of the train room where like the program's talking about love and karma, and it's like those are just words. Like we're intelligence, like we could feel those things too. We're like understand those concepts and identify with them. And I'm like, cool. But like besides that scene, where else is that stuff? And Keanu Reeves being Jesus.
I mean, it is mostly in the Matrix stuff, like you were saying. It's in the scenes with the Oracle. It's in her conversation with Smith, in the final confrontation with Smith. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's like incredibly deep or anything, but there is a kind of, nihilism versus, what would you call it? I want to use the right terms here.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a kind of nihilism that Smith represents, a kind of belief in the order of all things that is completely opposed to kind of the embodiment of choice and emotion and like human fallibility and whatever that Neo is. That just sort of represents. Gosh, I'm trying to put this all in the right words. It's just there is like that part of the conflict between Smith and Neo is almost like entirely philosophical. It's
sure.
Actually it's kind of difficult to understand outside of philosophical terms because they kind of if you don't engage with it on that level, then it's just Smith just kind of hates Neo for no reason.
Right. No, that's fair. And I guess I don't know how you put more of that in the movie, but I actually think what you said like kind of illustrates the point where that is all really good. And on the other side, like the just generic squiddy machines versus generic humanity, it's like they do just hate each other, and it's like we're just kind of at war, and that's that. So
Yeah.
Like,
no,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, I totally agree that the Zion parts are the weakest part of this movie. I'm not going to defend them as being especially good because they're not. I don't know. I guess just for me, I could kind of like sit through that half hour or so in the middle of the movie that's all about Zion and, you know, ease my way back into the Neo stuff and enjoy myself.
Yeah. Or there's like another version. I don't know how you would feel about this, Nando, but like instead of the bang bang of like the APUs and the everything that's going on, like more in like the command room and talking about, because like the one part that was interesting was like, you know, the commander is like, save the doc, you just look like we're dead for sure now, and just kind of like more of that as like the conflict is going on, because there's also nothing interesting about the conflict.
Oh yeah.
There's no evolution, there's no strategy, and you know, usually when you have like big imposing force, like in 300, when it's like, well, these Persians are all probably going to kill us, but it's like we'll keep the audience guessing by having like cool shit and unexpected surprises happen. Like you can have that happen, but you don't. You just have like crash, crash, bang, bang.
Yeah, usually you would assume you would do that by putting a single character we give a shit about in one of the mechs, but instead they did not that.
Well, the problem with that, Nando, is that every character we give a shit about is not in Zion. So.
And that sucks. Like, it really is an insane thing that when you realize that, you're like, oh, nobody can be there. They all left.
Yeah.
It's wild because, just have them different ships or something. I don't know.
I felt this is getting more into the nitpicks than generally talking about how we felt about it. So I don't know if maybe I should save this for later.
No, please do. No, I'm like, I want it. Feed the machine.
I was like, when Locke is like chewing them out, like, your EMP blast disabled all our defenses. You didn't save us. I was like, didn't you literally have a conversation with one of your subordinates before they got here where they pointed out that you were about to lose the dock anyway and this was your only hope, so even though it wasn't a great option, you had to do it? Didn't you already acknowledge that, you motherfucker?
His whole shit makes no sense. And it's like, it really is just like, I like what he's doing, but he's fucking my wife, so no, I don't like it anymore, or whatever his deal is. Like, because he just fucking hates whatever Morpheus is doing at that moment, no matter what it is. And yeah, that part is insane.
I have an add-on to that nitpick. So, when they're trying to figure out if the ship is actually a ship or if it's like a trick by the machines, which, like, why would the machines be double bluffing you when they're kicking your ass?
Just in case that big giant drill doesn't get through everything.
But while he's trying to...
What about the machines' tactics right now are convincing you that they feel any need for strategy whatsoever?
Yeah.
So, while he's trying to suss that out, he's like, that's impossible. That's a mechanical line. No one can drive mechanical. It's like, dude, you don't think like you would know your wife can drive mechanical? Or is it supposed to show how out of touch you are that you don't even know that your wife can drive mechanical? But I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's a good question. Also, like what?
Come on, man.
Did they do to get them in? They just opened gate 3, right?
Yeah.
And gate 3 is just like held together by a chain.
Yeah,
well, it was the counterweight. That was the counterweight.
Right.
I buy that.
If that's what the machines are tricking them into doing, or like, oh, it's a trick. Because the machines could have fucking done that if they wanted. There's millions of them flying around. Any one of them could just open that door. They just don't give a shit.
Yeah, it really does seem like the machines like had like, because like it's weird for these super advanced, you know, AIs who are like, you know, you think would be like great military, you know, planners and strategists, because they have like a program for everything in the Matrix, and there's programs outside of the Matrix that they could do whatever. You'd think like there would be a strategy beyond, just flood the zone with everyone. It's fine. We could survive, you know, hundreds of thousands of losses. It's all good. Just flood the zone. We're gonna overwhelm them anyway.
Well,
so
yeah. Or just something like ruthlessly efficient, where it's just like...
Yeah, where's the bombs?
Where are the bombs, and where is this... Why are we only attacking the robot suits from the front? Why do we make a big circle around them so we could just fucking surround them? You have 1 billion guys. Just send 10 things to every single guy, and then try that.
Well, this is like the 6th time they've done this, right? So maybe,
Right.
maybe every other time they like did it really efficiently with good tactics, and it was over so quickly that they're like, this is kind of boring. What if we just smashed them? What if we just robot wave tactics just to mix it up, make it a little more interesting?
Yeah, this is like legendary expert mode for them. Like they've got all of their power ups are off and stuff, and they've got to do it again. That makes sense. Because, yeah, it does seem like drill. Like, everybody flies around like little bees, but also makes one big wave, and then big drill doesn't seem like that great of a strategy.
What about turn into a big hand so you can, like, punch the command center?
That was pretty cool. I think it's weird. Remember the bit... Okay, we're going to be kind of nitpicking this out of order, but I do want to get at the fight, because the fight is stupid. Remember the bit where there's the drill. The drill shows up for the first time. And the two characters whose name I don't know because they're new are both like, and maybe they're not new, but like they're not any of the ones that matter, have the bazookas and they shoot one of the legs off it and it kind of wobbles, but then it steadies itself and they're like, oh no. And I'm like, no, this is awesome. You just got to do that again. Like, you should be celebrating how well that worked.
Yeah, like, this worked so well. We can't believe how well it worked.
Yeah, the rocket wasn't intercepted by drones or something. This is, you got this, guys.
Also, one of them is, the loader is Z, Link's wife, who was in Reloaded. Yes. The other one is someone else who showed up for the first time in that scene.
Yeah, that was a lot of the problem with this. Yeah. There were guys who I was like, I feel like you've been in stuff before. I do remember Z, because we did get some time with her, and like, she's
Dozer's sister. Dozer and Link's sister, I guess.
She Dozer's sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
she
why
lost two brothers to that ship. It scares her.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, so.
Wait,
well, she lost one brother
Link's
to that ship
sister?
and one brother to
Dozer and Tank.
Okay,
Dozer
yeah.
My bad, Dozer and Tank. All the fucking names.
I mean, listen, in the olden time, whatever this is, like in like, Zion, I wouldn't be shocked if there's incest, I'm not condoning it, but they're all doing sweaty orgies together. I wouldn't be shocked.
I was going to say, when you're in the middle of your sweaty rave dirt orgy, you don't always have time to check if someone's your cousin or not.
Yeah, it's not great, but we got bigger problems, bigger fish to fry. There's a lot. We gotta go back to the beginning, because I think a lot of the stuff I like about this movie is in the beginning.
Let's talk about the beginning. This is very fun.
Well,
so Neo is in the train station from Harry Potter.
Has a beginning, has an ending.
Has an end.
That's a good point. So we learn that Neo is in a coma, and he's in the train station from Harry Potter, and it is a train station for programs made by the Merovingian or something.
Like he smuggles programs
the train guy
are in the machine world into the Matrix for whatever reason that needs to be. And
he got there because of his like weird Matrix powers and stuff.
Yeah,
like that's why he's in there. What do we think of that?
This is fine. I like, considering the second movie was left on a cliffhanger, that this was fine. I feel like everything is mostly appropriately explained in this movie. There is one thing I wish they went a little more into, which we could talk to. It's like kind of the Oracle stuff that I thought was kind of handled weird. But I thought this bit was fine.
Yeah, honestly, you guys made it seem like the explanation for why he has powers in the real world would be much more mysterious than I found it to be. It was actually quite straightforward.
It is. No, it is. They don't tell you anything. It's very mysterious. Why does he have powers in the real world?
Because he's connected to the source. All the machines are connected to the source, and so because he can manipulate the source, which is the source of his powers in the Matrix, he can also learn to do it in the real world. So he can't like fly or anything, but he can, make the machines do stuff.
All right, fair enough.
Right, but I guess for me the question is like, how or why? I guess is he connected to the source, or like I don't know.
Because he's the
one. I mean,
yeah, like it's a big leap for me.
That's a question. That's a question for the other movies. We've already accepted that that's true.
Yeah, I guess we will see. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the biggest problem or anything like that.
Neo's in the train station. He meets 3 programs, a family of programs. How cute.
Yep.
This is like the most, I don't know about the most, but this is as close as we get to a deep dive like on the programs. Like, I don't know, we're any of you like wanting more on this kind of front where it's like, oh, we're actually exploring that like not all the machines are totally evil, and like they have built their own society, which also sounds like it sucks.
I do think we could have used a little bit more on that, because I feel like that's a big part of the basis for the ending. You know, the recognition that it's not just... Because the ending isn't we beat the machines. The ending is like the machines and humans decide to stop messing with each other, basically.
Right.
And so I think a clearer recognition of, hey, the machines are kind of their own people with their own society and their own problems. And, you know, in the end, there's not really any reason for us to fight. I think the movie...
that they're using us as batteries.
But I'm saying, like, if we can resolve the differences, like, there's nothing inherent in ourselves that means we should be fighting.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I would take that over Heartbeat instead of most of the stuff that it is. Like, instead of there's so many things in this movie that I'd be fine with dropping. Most of the things we've already said, but, like, for just more of this.
But yeah, so I think we could have used a little bit more of that. I like this bit of it that's in there, but I don't think you're wrong in that they could have hit the point harder.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like to Nando's point, where it's like most of the Matrix stuff is better. So,
but is this the Matrix, DJ? Is it not a midpoint between their world and our world?
Yes, whatever that means. It's like a little.
Did you notice that the train station's name is an anagram of limbo?
Oh, God damn it! I didn't, but now I know that now.
Was it Bilbo?
Bilbo Maggins. That's
right.
Yeah. No, it's Mobile.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice. Well, Jesus never went to limbo, so that doesn't make sense. Well, actually, did he? I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
So that's on that side, and then on the other side, we get we left it off where it's like everyone's on the ship and they get a phone call from the Oracle, or like Seraph via the Oracle, whatever. So it's time to go into the Matrix.
Yeah, a lot of Seraph in this movie. More Seraph than I remembered.
A lot of Seraph, but I think he got a bad rap.
I wouldn't say a lot of Seraph. I would say more Seraph than last time.
Yeah. That's fair. And I like, obviously it doesn't last too long. Or he's not, because that would be so cool, though. If, like, at the end, him and Neo beat up Mr. Smith or something. Because, like, there's nowhere for him to have been more in the movie. But, yeah, he does help out and is cool and stuff. And I loved him in this.
So, what does the crew have to do? What's our mission one? What's our starting point?
Another quest. We got to do another fetch quest. We're still doing that from the last movie.
At least this quest is like, it's just go to the Merovingian and, work it out.
Yeah, they realize that Neo is stuck in the between place, and only the Merovingian's train man can reach that place. So they're like, we need to capture the train man and force him to bring Neo back. The train man looks disgusting, and I love it.
He really does.
Yeah, I don't understand what the train man's deal is.
Yeah, you'd think with all the money he presumably gets from the Merovingian, he could afford to upgrade his code so he doesn't look like a deformed man.
What if that's his, like, work garb? What if the Merovingian's like, you have to wear this to work?
You have to be Subway Gollum.
Yeah, you have to be like the Filch of the subway and just rags and tatters, and
you must be weird. More rat than man.
It's funny because in the beginning when you see him, he's like in a shitty train station, and like you kind of, maybe for a second I'm like, oh, maybe he like kind of acclimates to whatever train station he's in, so when we see him later he'll look good. But now he's driving that nice train through the white station and still looks like he's homeless, which is not, it's a choice, I guess, but doesn't quite fit with the Merovingian's brand.
Yeah, right? Well, I feel like his brand changed. Like, last movie, it was austere, fancy, upscale restaurant, and this one, it was like fucking BDSM party. It was very different.
Hell Club, baby!
This is the kind of rave orgy that Nando can get behind.
Absolutely. No guns allowed, and it's cleaner slightly, probably only a little bit.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, all the leather definitely isn't helping, but it's a different kind of dirt. Everyone showers before they go to it, so at least you're starting from a place of cleanliness. But
not everything smells like ass, even though they're so close. They must be sweating so much.
Yeah, it's got to smell awful, and it's like it is like a rave in where people are wearing like outfits that have like some skin showing, but they're all leather. Like it's chafing. It's not. There's no circulation. It's a mess.
Are these people programs, or are they people? What is going on?
I'd have to assume they're programs.
That's what I would assume. And then it's like, do you not have jobs? Are you the cool programs that the Merovingian just finds from the machine world? It's like, yes, you're my rave slaves. I love you very much. Cause and effect. Causality.
Maybe programs just love raves.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Do programs like... So, like, because when we meet the two programs that have the kid, one of them's like, I run a nuclear something or some sort of like...
He's like a resource power plant manager.
Right.
And the other one's interactive software. For what, I wonder?
So, assuming that she's not... Or assuming that he's there at that moment, is it like Toy Story, where, like, if you turn them off, they get to go fuck off for, like, the rest of the... like...
Oh, maybe.
So, are they, like... Is his, power plant closed or whatever, and is he just on break?
Yeah, he just gets to hang out, maybe.
So maybe the machine, like the programs, just like when people aren't using them, go to the rave. Like it's a 9 to 5, like it's the Flintstones or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's 11.
Yeah. Yeah, like your power plant says that, and then it just goes to a rave, and it's like, I don't know what's going on here. This is weird. But yeah, that's like fine, That's okay. I don't mind because it's amazing. Because this is the only Matrix sequence that's cool. Like,
it's true.
It's the only fun action sequence in the Matrix that's like practical effects and bullshit like that I like. And that bit where they all jump onto the ceilings, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, this is a new power. They're really upgrading the programs.
Yeah, that's why I think they must be programs, is because they do weird shit like that. But
yeah.
Oh yeah, the guards are definitely programs, 100%. I thought you meant all the club goers.
That is what I meant. Like the attendees. Yeah.
I just assumed. Yeah, I figure they're all programs. I don't know. What do people in the real world think the Merovingian is? Just like some guy?
Just some billionaire.
Yeah,
he's like one of our billionaires.
Yeah,
if you found out that one of our billionaires had some restaurant where he gives people orgasm cakes so he can go get a Dan Aykroyd, would you really be surprised?
Hopefully we'd hear about him on the news a couple years later. Merovingian arrested for allegations and stuff. Like his time is
the Merovingian better not come back in this new one, or else he's going to get Me Too'd.
Yeah, the Merovingian Express or whatever is getting shut down. All the logs. Morpheus is on the logs for the Merovingian Express. Like, oh no, he's a bad guy now. But yeah, he's cool in this. He's wearing red now. He's changed his colors to different.
I loved that outfit. I was such a fan. I'm like, this is a great outfit.
It's a good outfit because it's not a black outfit or the rags and tatters that everyone wears in Zion. So it's like a slightly different thing. It's pretty good. It's like the only interesting outfit in the whole movie.
Can I say, I kind of like the big threadbare sweaters everyone wears on a ship in Zion.
Really?
I don't mind them as...
They're not the most interesting costuming choice, but I don't know. They look nice.
They do look cool. I'll give it that they look cool. They don't have like I don't know. They don't have that. Like I really appreciate, one of the things that I really appreciate from the original Matrix and Matrix 2 is like just what these like weird dorks dress like in the Matrix, and I like seeing the very extreme silly versions of that. Much like God, what was her name? Persephone's dress in this, which is just like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. What are you wearing? Come on. That's not a real thing people wear. And it's like, yeah, that's how all these weirdos in the Matrix dress, and it's great. Love that. What's her deal, by the way? Is she back with the Merovingian?
I guess. I mean,
I kind of got the sense from their final interaction in Reloaded that she was like, this is just one of our games. And he was like,
right.
Fine, I suppose that, yes, sometimes we just screw each other over for fun. I am fresh.
Yeah, they're one of those couples that like gets in a big fight at the party and then breaks up and then has sex that night, and then it's like, no, they're back, and it's like, Jesus Christ, I can't keep up. Like, they're the perpetual, it's complicated relationship. But pretty good. I like that they seem to be happy for each other. Like I don't know. She's in for it, I guess.
I will say for me, where this scene winds up, where it's basically just a total suicide pact standoff where everyone's like pointing guns at each other, a la all your favorite action movies, and because the Merovingians like, get me the eyes of the Oracle, fuckers, and they're like, oh no, and Trinity's like, fuck this, and just roundhouse kicks everyone, and then puts a gun to the Merovingian's head, and it's like, here's the deal, either we all die or you give me Neo. And it's like, I like that, and we are not just gonna do a fetch quest. Like, I appreciated the subversion of expectations there. I thought it was pretty good.
I did too. Good. It feels almost like this, like we were saying these movies are made back to back, but it does almost feel like this movie was made 5 years later, and this was like, we know you guys hated all that shit, so we're just gonna have Trinity go, no more quests. We're just fighting now, and we're done, and we're moving on. Nobody gives a shit about our eyes. It's just guns and kicks and stuff. But they were not made that way. But still, I appreciated it.
So, what happens next? Or did you guys have anything else in this scene? Because I will say, this is our last. It's like our second to last fun Matrix scene, and then things start happening. But yeah, did you guys have any other thoughts on this scene?
Everything up until Neo wakes up is the best part of the movie. I really do think that going back and especially because I don't hate the end. I think it's could be maybe, I don't know. I'm not in love with it as much, but I definitely don't dislike it as much as the middle. But all this beginning stuff, I'm down for. And even even past when he wakes up, because the stuff with the Oracle is fine too. But this stuff I like.
Okay. I like pretty much everything that's not Zion. So I still like when Neo and Trinity are in the real world, going to the Machine City. I like all that stuff too. And then the ending, I like.
Oh yeah, that bit wasn't bad. How about, what else is fun? That scene that Persephone makes when the fighting starts, and she's like, "Oh fuck yeah!" I love that. You know what I'm talking about? That face in that bit, that just a little bit where she's like. She lives for the drama. I like that about her.
Oh, Persephone definitely lives for the drama. I think we can say that definitively about her.
She was programmed for the drama as far as we know.
Honestly, yeah, probably.
She really
What if
is.
she was like a reality show program? What if she was the one, the program that was made to keep Real Housewives of X running for infinity for the entertainment of the machines?
Yeah, she's she could be the Kim Kardashian app or something, but in program form.
She's the Kim Kardashian mobile game. Remember that?
Yeah. That's the one where you buy clothes from the mobile game to wear in the mobile game or something. She's that.
Yep, that's Persephone. We figured it out.
Yeah. You think is she gonna be in the next one? There's no reason why her and the Merovingian can't.
Just everyone's 20 years older. That's the
but
that's the main problem.
There's some
Monica
characters
Bellucci in Spectre. She looks pretty good still.
And there's some characters who, and we'll get into it, shouldn't be able to show up in the next one, but seem like they still will anyway, maybe. But then there's other ones where it's they're still alive. It could easily check back up on them and see what he's up to. Because I do like him and her. They're both fun.
Maybe he'll be the main antagonist. Maybe
that would be
he'll have
so
to be
good.
dealing with the Merovingian.
Those blue pills are like the new cake. So you take a blue pill and you're like, oh my god.
See, honestly, as much as Star Wars and Marvel and stuff have beaten me into submission on this, everything needs to be addressed in the spin-off show or whatever. I don't necessarily need a Merovingian spin-off show, but I could deal with a little bit more. I don't know, a comic or something of just what's his deal? I want to know. And maybe
day
that's
in the life of the Merovingian.
Yeah, just a little more. But I don't want him to always show up and it's the Avengers Endgame of Matrix where everybody walks out of portals and then the Merovingian's there too, and it's because everyone likes me, I've appeared in the end. I'm sure he'll be using another similar reference in a week, but whatever. Some sort of the fans requested more Merovingian. I want him to get his own pocket that is its own thing. Maybe a video game where you just it's Animal Crossing, but Merovingian Crossing. That'd be fun.
Oh, they're all sweaty raves with leather.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we gave all of our video game budget to Niobe and Ghost, so.
Oh man, yeah, they The movie, that part of the movie is cool. I like the little baby program. That's kind of interesting. I don't know. What did you think of the bit with the... Oh, sorry.
I like the idea of like two programs that are in love make a new program, but that program doesn't have any purpose because it wasn't made by the machines for something. So it's like by definition a rogue AI. I think that's interesting.
I do think the bit where, like, I feel like that program acted a little bit more programming than I feel like we've had the programs act before, where Neo was like, I love her, and he was like, what is love? Love is a chemical reaction. Like, I don't know. I like how the programs in many of these scenes are more human than the people, although I guess he's with Keanu Reeves, so what are you going to do? But the, he's pretty cool. Is this guy dead? I can't remember.
Wait, what do you mean?
No reason he would be.
Right? Yeah, so maybe he can come back in the next one. Maybe it's him and the Merovingian teaming up, like Hawkeye. Yeah. The little girl in the... Well, no, that's bad. But, like, something like that. I don't know. We can get a Hawkeye situation.
Well,
the little girl and Persephone.
It's not a little girl.
That's true.
Assuming programs can grow up, which, I mean, probably they can. They just have to change their code.
Yeah, I don't see why not. They'd have to if they want to live, amongst the people and not get... Yeah,
if they don't want to be like that one Eternal.
Exactly, yeah. Just put on mustaches and be a different guy. This is my dad. Goodbye forever. He knows all the things I know. So it's fine. Actually, I guess it would be the opposite, but, like, whatever. What'd you guys think of Neo and the Oracle?
So, yeah, this was interesting, right? So the next bit we get is, so they get Neo back. Hooray! And Neo's like, I gotta see the Oracle one last time because it's my last chance. And it's like the final, all of your questions will be answered or whatever. So what's interesting is that this Oracle is a new actress.
Yeah, did the old one die?
I don't know, but we had a classic recast situation go on here, but we made it part of the plot because, I don't know, we're going to talk about it or whatever. So the Oracle alludes to the fact that, like, she made a bet and lost, and the sacrifice is, like, her appearance changed, but also like some like affect of her changed as well. But we don't know what that is or what the gamble was. And I needed like 5% more on like what the heck was going on there.
Well, you know why the actress changed, right?
No, I
actually
don't.
Yeah.
Oh, the original actress died like right as filming for this started.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks, but that makes sense. Like that's how that tends to be dealt with in movies. I mean, it could also have just been that she wanted more money and they decided Don Cheadle or something was the new one. So, like, I guess there's two ways that this scenario ends up playing out. But
I think if what I recall or from my research is the official explanation is she let the programs from the train station like sell out her identity from the Flash movies as like their price for getting their daughter brought into the Matrix.
Okay.
And so like that's why like she let them do it on purpose. And so like that's how she ended up losing her last identity and having to take on a new one.
Like, why does that matter?
I mean, it doesn't really. It's just, you were saying you wanted an explanation, so I'm saying that's the one that exists.
Fair. Yeah. All right. I'll take that. Okay. Well, thank you for that explainer, Diggins. You're welcome. It.
It's not in the movie, so I don't think it matters or like alleviates your like I don't think it mitigates your confusion over this at all. But there was an extra movie answer, so there you go.
Yeah, no, it's something. I'll take it. Okay. So yeah, what I think of the scene is good. It's our last little tete-a-tete. It is fun if you look at it from like a Neo's arc from the Matrix 1 to now. Like I think it's pretty cool. Like I think
as
it's
the Oracle
good storytelling
expressly points out. You mean?
Yeah, sure, but like like I don't know. It was just cool to see. I get that she says it explicitly, but I guess I'm like, yeah, you're right, movie. Tell me things I know.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like, yeah, you're right, DJ. The movie even points it out themselves.
So, yeah. What did you guys think of this scene?
Pretty good.
I also enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I like the kind of like weird philosophical bits of this whole trilogy. So I enjoy the kind of somewhat vague but hinting at the themes conversations that the Oracle tends to have about choices, and also it sets up the finale about not being able to see past choices you don't understand.
Yeah.
And so how, like, you know, kind of implying that the using the powers of the Oracle requires a bit of self-awareness and humility and wisdom that, you know, maybe some people who end up with those powers don't have. I think it's all pretty neat.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy this, Nando? Were you okay with this?
I liked that. That was good.
Good.
Yeah.
I honestly can't remember what happens next. Zion stuff? Bane wakes up?
I feel like the Bane stuff happens before most of this. There's a little Zion planning, but it's like Bane and then a bunch of Zion after that.
Yeah, I mean, we get like the whole fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Bane wakes up and they like are interrogating him to see if he knows why the initial attack failed, and he's just saying like really weird, creepy shit, and they should have thrown him in jail right away because he's all just like, how do I know if I am who I am? Who can say what it means to be who you are? Did I betray everybody? I guess I don't know. Like, okay, just throw him in jail.
He's a weird little guy.
Yeah, seriously, like, cut off his hands, you know.
Whoa, extreme
I don't know, man. Just, like, be real careful with this guy.
Yeah, cut off his hands. I think that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's yeah, it is pretty funny. When our main characters meet, what is it, Bane? It's like, you know, he's just pretty much bad. But that scene where he is trying to convince that girl that he's bad, but she won't listen, and then he has to kill her.
I know, right?
Like it is a lot, but I guess like for him, it's like I haven't figured it out yet. This brain, it's so cool, like, and that's
actually,
great.
Nando, later we'll find out he thinks the brain sucks. Actually,
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, he thinks it sucks, but he's like, it's so different. I don't know how it works and stuff. Like, you know. I
think it would have been fun it wouldn't have fit the movie at all, but it would have been fun if there was an element of Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black to his performance, where he's like shuffling around, unable to control his meat puppet properly because he doesn't know what it is.
That would have been great. Oh my god. Yeah, like trying to do fancy karate stuff and just totally whiffing it. It's like, oh, I guess we can't all do backflips. Whoops. Like, just like lands on his head.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, if he tried to do a backflip and just like belly flopped onto the ground.
Yeah. He punched really hard into a wall. His hand broke, and he's just crying over there. I don't know what's up. Anybody want to talk to him? Yeah. That would have been great. Never mind. This movie is awesome.
No, you coming around, Nando?
Yeah,
coming around.
Best movie.
Nice.
What else is cool? I don't know.
It's hard because after that like scene, it's like we have to deal with the fact that like, oh, Zion's gonna fall because obviously the machines are just better at this, and the best Zion has to defend itself are like the mechs with no armor around the body. Like, come on, guys. You couldn't have made any kind of, like, you know, glass cage or something. We're just going, like, full bare nothing to shield you. Why aren't EMPs more popular? Like, you know, EMPs I get you're going to use it on the ships, but, you know, it's your one weapon should just be, you know, fucking everywhere.
Right, like smaller ones that aren't the biggest thing ever, but just like,
yeah, right.
Chuck it in a thing and then EMP. Yeah. Handy.
You know, grenades, something.
Right.
Just, you know, the fucking commander's like, you wiped out our entire defense system. And it's like, what was your defense system? Those mounted guns that did nothing against the fucking, like, squiddies? Like, what are you talking about, dude?
He really is just like, I've been in that situation before, you know, when you're angry and you're wrong, but you don't want to stop being angry. So you just, like, pick new grounds to be angry on. Like, yeah, it's what happens. I don't even want to go there. It's different, actually. Yeah, I know it's not. You did that, but also you ruined this thing.
Oh my god. So, yeah.
But before we get to Zion, there is though the discussion where they're like, all the captains are talking about, well, this is how we're going to get back to Zion, and Neo's like, actually, I'm not going back to Zion. I have to go to Machine City, where the machines live.
Do we know where Machine City is?
It's on the surface.
No, I know. But, like, what, is it, like, Philadelphia? Like, used to be, where was... I'm sure that's been nailed down. It's like what it's, latitude and longitude are and stuff. Want to know.
The original Machine City was somewhere in Africa, I'm pretty sure.
Because of, symbolism and cradle of civilization and stuff like that. That makes sense. Also, that makes sense, too, because that's where we'd, like, build the machine plants is, like,
Oh, there is an answer here. Do you guys want to take a stab at where it is?
Oh, my God. I'm going to say New York.
Okay. I've got two guesses. They're both definitely wrong. First one's Vatican City. The second one is, like, I don't know, is Bethlehem a real place? Bethlehem.
Nando, you were the closest geographically. It is... They don't give a really specific location, but they say in the Middle East, close to Mesopotamia.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
I mean, that's
so they
definitely...
really did go with that whole cradle of civilization theme.
Yeah, it's not hard to just, like, take a guess at something in the Matrix if you kind of missed it. Just fill it in with theology. What's that guy's name? I don't know. It's probably, like, Trinity or something. That sounds
Gabriel.
like something. Yeah.
It's probably Gabriel. I have a question.
I have an answer.
Does Neo have
TJ
to go
has
to
a
the
question
Machine City?
And Diggins has an answer. That's great. What was the question, TJ?
Does Neo have to go to the Machine City?
You're positing a world in which he, like, radios up the machine god and is like, hey, let me do this thing.
Yeah, I am positing that.
My understanding of how the end plays out is it plays out that way in part because Neo is in the Machine City.
Yeah, I feel like he has to get past all the little robots to convince the whatever it is, babyface machine thingy to let him do what he wants.
Not even that, but just like the reason why he defeats Smith is partially because he is in the Machine City physically.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
I'll explain more when we get there, but
okay, that I'll take it for now.
Now there is a argument one could make that if he could just radio up the machine god and be like, "Hey, I have this deal," then he could have just gone to the Machine City without everything trying to kill him.
That's true.
That's true. Because if he dies along the way, because he gets impaled with a part of the ship, then not great.
No, not great.
Not great.
But I guess do they even have a way to contact the machines? The machines mostly just try to kill them.
Go to the Matrix and just shout, "Hey, machines!"
But by then, the Matrix is mostly Smith.
Yeah, I guess. How could you do it? I guess we just don't know what the machines are. But I feel like the Merovingian could probably do it, hypothetically. Or
any of the high level programs.
Somebody like that, I guess, would be who I would call.
Yeah, be like, "Hey, what's up?"
I don't know. It's a good question.
But before he decides that, something else happens that cuts off a lot of those possibilities, guys.
Yeah. Is it when he fights Bane and he gets all burned in the face? Or is it something else before that?
I was saying before he decides to go to the Machine City.
Oh.
Or maybe around the same time. It's a Matrix scene, so I would think you'd remember it, Nando.
Oh my god, there's a Matrix scene during all this?
Is it when the Oracle gets sucked up into goo?
Yeah, it's when Smith finds the Oracle.
Right.
I didn't find this scene very compelling, I must say. Oh, I do have something to say. So the Oracle goes to Seraph. Seraph, take the girl and run. And Seraph's like, okay. And his solution is to go into a room with no way out and just die.
Yeah.
Like, he gets such a bad fucking... I was so made upset by that. I'm like, this can't be his plan.
I do think we should
even try and protect her.
To be fair, he had tried to do the elevator and the stairs first, and both of those were no-goes, so his only other options were go all the way upstairs and jump off the roof or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's,
we absolutely should have cut some Zion stuff to have Seraph and Smith have a cool fight.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on. Like, I beat you once. It's like, oh, I'd like to see this. And it's like, too bad. You don't get to, loser. I'm like, oh, okay.
I like the bit where Agent Smith was like, "Oh, I'm not so bad. I'm actually cool," to the little girl.
once you get to know me,
Yeah.
AKA I get to assimilate you.
Yeah.
I also like when the Oracle asks, "Where's Sati?" I think her name is. And he just goes, "Like people, cookies need a little bit of love."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was clutch.
That was funny.
How about when he called the Oracle mommy or something? That was fun.
Yeah, it's like, you're a bastard. You would know, Mom.
Very, very important distinction, Nando. He calls her mom, not mommy.
He calls her mommy in my version. I watched the
Can you
one.
imagine?
I watched the one that they made for like a different country where the rights were given to Mommy Corp or something.
Could you imagine? You're a bastard. You would know, Mommy.
Yeah, you would know, Mommy. Oh wait, excuse me. I meant to say mother. That's what I
Mommy
call it.
makes that line so much worse.
I know. It's awful.
Every time a character in a movie says mom, just use your head, remember it as mommy instead, and it's better. It's a better movie.
Oh,
you
my
know?
God.
He does that though. He assimilates her, and that's fine, I guess. I didn't hate it. Kind of cool.
It's crazy how, like, looking back or forward or whatever, this scene means so much to what will happen. Like in the rest of the movie.
And then after he assimilates her, he does the crazy laugh, and all the other Smiths are like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Uh-oh, guys, did DJ just assimilate the Oracle?
Oh my god. DJ, that'd be cool.
Yeah, DJ, do you have the eyes of the Oracle now? Can you tell us the future?
Yeah, I know whether or not you're gonna take this candy.
Am I?
No.
Bullshit. There's no way I wouldn't take candy.
Damn it, these are bogus eyes. Ugh, very upsetting.
Yeah. And then they go, so by this point, do we have a point where they're like, we have to split up into two teams?
Yes,
right?
That's definitely happened by now. Where Niobe is like, I trust Neo, and the Oracle said I wouldn't. There would come a point where I have to decide if I'm going to help him or not, and I decided I am going to help him, so he can take my ship, and we take this other ship because we only have one pilot who can do this anyway.
I think it's really funny that the guy's like, I don't remember the name of the other guy who's on the ship that I want to say is like the bald guy, whoever it is, who's yelling at him. I like that. She's like, okay, so we have your ship and we have my ship. I won't and give Neo, I have to fly the thing, so obviously we're using my ship for that. And then, right, that's how this works?
Well,
No.
He's like, I refuse to give my ship to Neo to go on a suicide mission to the Machine City. This is my ship, and it'll go to hell long before it goes.
Right.
And then Naomi's like, okay, he can have my ship, I guess.
So
You're gonna be a
those
dick about it.
Those are the two ships that they have, though, right?
Yeah.
So I like that she's like,
Nebuchadnezzar blew up at the end of Reloaded.
right. That's So I like that she's like, all right, he can have my ship, and then it's like, okay, and it's like, but I am driving your ship now, guy. So it's my ship
right.
now. It's like the same thing. Just I'm gonna be giving orders. Just it's my ship now. They're both my ship, I guess. Hooray for me.
Every ship is mine.
Yeah. Neo gets all of them
Various
except for the
things.
one I'm driving. And then they go and do the Star Wars chase. That this movie becomes Star Wars for a little bit.
Oh my god, it becomes so Star Wars.
They get in the little gunner seats and fight the TIE fighters.
Rolling is a good trick.
It is a good trick, yeah.
It is a good trick. I have to say, again, and I don't know how you work this in to make it not awkward, but it's like, that's a mechanical line. No one can pilot mechanical. What does that mean? Like, I know it's not important, but like my tiny brain wants to be like, I need to know what this means. Give this some significant, and again, it's not important, and I'm probably just like a bad movie watcher, but like, just a throw line, it's like, mechanical, that hasn't been done since the blah blah blah, you used to have to do the thing, blah, blah, blah. Or just have some guy be like, mechanical, I've never heard of that, like, just something, give me something.
As opposed to, you're saying you'd prefer that as opposed to like, she can't do that, and it's like, no, she can.
No, well, it's like, but I don't know what flying mechanical is.
Oh.
What does that mean, right? Yeah.
I assume it's like like doing warp speed without doing calculations and just like feeling it, right? It's kind of what I got.
I assumed it was like all the ships have some kind of autopilot or whatever that
right,
helps you maneuver it. And so flying mechanical is just not using any of that. You're just doing it all yourself.
What makes that a mechanical line? I was like, this is a mechanical line.
Oh, yeah. It did seem like they were talking specifically about like the tube she was going down.
Yeah, like
for
that
a while.
route was like a mechanical whatever.
This is pure speculation on my part. This is not research answer. Maybe it's like, because there's a bunch of electricity and stuff in that tube, right? That they fly through?
Yeah.
So maybe it's like there's a bunch of interference and the autopilots don't work in those tubes. So it's a mechanical line because you can only fly it mechanically.
I'll buy that. Again, just that's not on you, Diggins. It's on the movie. The movie should be feeding me my stupid facts that don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's
they just bring it up so much. It's like, that's a mechanical line. No one can fly mechanical.
It doesn't really bug me in that way, but it is like a thing where it's like if you take out all of the like jargon and stuff, it's really very like matter of fact. Like it's like no one can fly the route we need to fly. I can fly it, and if I get there just in time, we can stop the bad guys. And it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, this isn't the part of the movie that's interesting to me, even if you do a really good fly through the thing. Like, especially since it's all new, and it's just kind of like, here's the new things that we, are introducing, and this new character, who's not, like, new, but, I don't know. It is crazy to me how much this movie does sideline two of the big three, I would say. Like,
Trinity and Morpheus.
Yeah, Trinity gets more to do than Morpheus, but, like, still not that much, and that sucks, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, I don't know, the only way it changes, because you need Morpheus in the Matrix, but, like, I don't know, they can't get into the Matrix from Zion, right, because then why would they ever leave?
I feel like, okay, so I did think this through a little bit. We need to there needs to be some way to send Morpheus to the city or to Zion before the fight starts or something.
Yeah, yes.
Get him in a mech and put him in like a little escape pod or something, and it only works once. Just so he can be the one that's like, we got to keep the door, like, this is the plan. And then the general's like, no, different plan. And then we can have that internal, like, debate or, like, that argument that the general just seems to be having minute to minute in his own head. It's like, it's good that we close the door. Right. It's bad that we close, it's really just it's just a real shame that none of the interesting characters were in the middle bit in Zion.
The other thing that, like, I don't know, it would probably turn this too much into an anime, and we already had the Animatrix, but it would be fucking awesome if, like, so do you remember in Reloaded, where the people who, like, work the gates at Zion are all, like, jacked in, and they're, like, working in this, like, beautiful white, like, whatever, where they're, like, just, like, punching buttons over and stuff like that, and, like, oh, that's cool. You need something where, like, Morpheus is there and he's like, we have to use the weapon, and it's like, it's not ready, it's like, there's no time, and, like, Morpheus jacks in, and then there's just, like, a giant mech that they have to just, like, punch out all of, like, the fucking robots, and it was like this, like the fucking APUs that are, like, just a big one of those, just like a giant one of those that Morpheus, like, jacks into.
Because, like, what is the coolest thing Morpheus does in this movie?
Roundhouse kick the guys in the Merovingians club, I guess.
Yeah,
like that's the best I got for you.
That is kind of like the last thing he does, though.
Yeah, it blows, especially because he's not in the new one, as far as we know, or maybe his character is.
Well, hey,
he's in the guy that looks like a younger.
Where he gets killed.
Died though, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Canonically, he's dead. I know there's probably no way to find it, but I kind of want to go back and play the online game.
It's totally findable. I feel like that shit
the game itself is still findable. The online part is probably long dead.
Yeah, that's what's it. But it was like canonical. That's like why I'm so interested by it.
Well, I guess it was at the time. I don't know if it's going to be canonical to this new movie.
That's true.
Yeah,
but I think it was the Wachowskis at the time said, like, this is for the real fans. Like, the real fans are going to play the game and be in the story, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's not a measure of success or anything like that. So, but whatever.
No, I mean, we saw Ghostbusters, the new one was for the real fans, and that one was the best one. You know, like things that are for the real fans are good. Things that are for, you know, I don't know, soy boys, what are we calling them? Those are bad. I think it's pretty obvious, you guys. What's the word? Chads are cool. Cucks, that's the one. I don't know any of these words. I feel like I see them, but I can't call it.
The Virgin X versus the Chad
right.
X. Or the Chad Y.
The Chad. Remember that movie, Charlie's Angels, speaking of all-female spy movies from earlier? Where,
yeah, what about it?
Do you remember Drew Barrymore's boyfriend in that? In the first one, I think, is, the heck was that guy? Not Tom Arnold. Tom
Green?
Yeah, Tom Green, and his name was The Chad, specifically like The Chad. And he called himself Chad. And he called himself The Chad. He was like, the Chad is making dinner. Like, it's fucking, he's the Chad, you guys. Everybody that thinks they're the Chad, you're not. It's Tom Green from 2001 or whatever. It's pretty good. Where were we going with this? Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah. So then they do Star Wars. What do we think of the Star Wars stuff?
Boo. Like, this whole experience is just not fun. Like, even in this scene, like, talking about Morpheus has nothing, he's just, like, doing shit for Naomi, like, 45 degrees right, 45 degrees, and he seems like incompetent while doing it. That's the worst part, is that like what they have Morpheus do seems like he's like bad at it. Like he's not the best.
He does seem, and I guess that's part of his character, but he's generally out of it after, in the last movie, learning that the prophecy was a lie or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think he ever really gets to get past that in this movie the way that you would hope for, like, the third lead of the series.
Yeah, especially because this whole thing is speeches. Like, Zion, let them hear us throughout the city! Like, that's him. That's him!
Do that again. I want to hear, who is this?
Zion, let them hear us throughout the city!
Now, okay. Now do Morpheus, but if he's really hungry for a lot of cookies, and he can just say the word cookie a bunch.
Zion, give me cookie.
Yeah, okay, that's what it is.
Wow, I think we're really onto something here, guys.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Machines took cookies from Zion. Oh, God. All right, they're done. We're done.
Guys, this is wow.
This is bad form.
We've talked about Cookie Monster before. We have. And with the discussion of what is his whole deal. Is he the closest character that exists on Sesame Street to a villain? I would say the answer is yes. So I wouldn't say he maps with Morpheus. But now those characters will be linked in my head in a way that won't make sense to anybody but people who listen to the podcast. I'm excited for that.
I was going to say, like, how would this come up? Like, you're talking about Sesame Street, like, whatever. It comes up and it's like, yeah, it's like, did you ever notice that
yeah.
Cookie Monster kind of sounds like Morpheus from the Matrix movies? It's like, no one thinks that. It's like, listen, though, they sound really similar.
It'll be like, you know, what if the Matrix movies, and like we can have this thought experiment now because it's awesome. What if the Matrix movies were all recast with Muppets, and it's like, you know, Kermit, I guess. Well, I don't know who's Neo.
Neo is. I'm like, is he the Count?
No.
Just based off the clothing.
Oh no, I feel like Mr. Smith is the Count.
Oh, that's like pretty compelling.
No, guys, obviously Sam Eagle is Agent Smith.
Oh, see, this is tricky because we're mixing our you know, Sesame Street Muppets and our Muppet Show Muppets. Not that they shouldn't be mixed, but
typically when people give this prompt, they say the Muppets, not Sesame Street.
I mean, they're Muppets, but the Count could be the Merovingian then, because that works for me.
Yes.
I think that works as well.
I love the Count as the Merovingian.
And then Snuffleupagus is the big old baby face monster from the end of this movie that's made of little robots. Did it look like a baby? I legitimately couldn't look at it for long enough to tell.
Big old cheeks and big. It was a baby.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was meant to look like a baby, but it definitely, you know, kind of did look like a baby.
Yeah. Well, I guess here's the other thing with casting Muppets as things. If you start casting the ones from the Muppet Show, it all just becomes like, well, yeah, Kermit's the main one, so he's Neo. Miss Piggy is Trinity. You know, Fozzie is. But
in Christmas Carol, Kermit was just Bob Cratchit.
He's like I'd say he's the main character of that's not Ebenezer Scrooge, right?
Well, but Gonzo's the narrator who has way more lines than Cratchit.
Because he's the best one. He is him and the prawn. Is Miss Piggy in that?
Yeah, she's right? Cratchit's wife.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess that's fair. I guess whenever there's a lead character, I expect it will be Kermit in the.
So what you're saying is that it should be Neo is Gonzo and Trinity is Camilla.
I think Morpheus is Gonzo because he would dress like Morpheus dresses. I feel like he's too interesting to be Neo, and that's why I think Kermit is a great Neo.
No. If it's too interesting, you know who Neo is?
Who?
Scooter.
I was gonna say, yeah, I couldn't even remember his name, but yeah, Scooter's a good one. It could be like he's Scooter in the real world, and then or Scooter in the Matrix and Kermit in the real world, or something like that, or that one.
Who would
do the switch thing?
Nando, ridiculous. Who would choose to be Scooter?
Yeah. Oh! Instead of the Merovingian being the Count, then it's the Swedish chef. His whole thing is just the Bergen language, like that whole speech.
Who are Statler and Waldorf? Is it like the
ghost
Captain
guys.
Bafumi and the commander or whatever?
They're two of the non-Smith agents.
No, the Statler and Waldorf are definitely the goons that are the ghosts that fly around in two.
Oh,
the twins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Persephone?
The turkey that is on the show with the Merovingian. The Swedish chef has like a turkey sidekick sometimes.
Yeah.
The question is, where does Fozzie end up in here? And that is a pickle. Wait, no, it's Joey Pants. So good. Yeah. Walk, because he just like cuts all the Muppets in half with a big laser. But wait, then who is Mr. Smith? Is it that? I don't know. No, Mr. Smith would just be Hugo Weaving. He would be the one person.
He's the one.
Oh, yeah,
usually these,
usually
these prompts are one person's a person. So yeah, Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, I like that. I could also see a version of the Matrix where it's the Muppet Matrix. So like everything that happens in Zion and stuff, actors. Everything that happens in the Matrix, Muppet equivalents. Like so that's where our Muppet one-to-ones happen. So it's like, yeah, Kermit is playing the Neo in the Matrix parts. We can make that on our own, you guys. It's not hard.
No rights issues whatsoever.
We just have to figure out Muppet leg technology, which they still haven't really gotten right. But
until very recently, Disney wasn't doing anything with that Muppets license.
Furious. Wait, did you see the thing they did today?
No, what?
Oh, cardinal sin of Muppeting. They I think this was for Christmas Carol. Digitally edited out some of the like arm wire thingies that they used to puppeteer the arms. They like
can't do that.
I know. It's so weird. It's such a weird fucking what is wrong with them? It's like HBO did their weird thing where they took all the curses out of Birds of Prey. It's like who are these touch up people? Your apps don't work most of the time. Why are we getting rid of the lines in the Muppet? What kid doesn't think they look real? They're puppets. They're supposed to look like puppets. Kids are stupid.
Yeah.
It's part of their charm that they got the little arm wires.
Yeah. It upsets me to no end. And then
in America, guys.
And then the key maker.
We used to have a country. We used to have a proper country. And then just a picture of Muppet arm wires.
The key maker is Bunsen, but I don't know where Beaker goes. Beaker could be Seraph. That'd be kind of fun. Just because he wears a white coat as well as Seraph, and
right.
And then I don't know who would be like the Oracle. Maybe it would be that one that's in the band. I forget her name. Janice, maybe.
Janice, yeah.
Yeah, she's got that kind of ethereal vibe.
Or the dragon. Maybe the dragon.
The dragon.
Yeah, with like the beard. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you talk about Deadly?
Uncle Deadly.
Oh, sure. I love Deadly. He could be Mr. Smith. Honestly, he's got a very Hugo Weaving-y vibe. But
yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, he's like one of my most favorite. He's
so fun.
Post 2000s Muppets. He's so good.
Yeah. You know who really won me over? What really won me over on Uncle Deadly? The ABC Muppets show. He's really good in that, even though that show's not that great.
Yeah.
He's great in it. Yeah. Because he's the one who's always just like, Miss Piggy has a weird outfit she wants to wear. And I'm like, yeah, that is a weird outfit. Deadly. Good point. He's also really funny in the other Disney Muppets show that they made for Disney Plus, because it's like the Miss Piggy segments are like a Zoom call or something. And he's there, and it's very silly. I like him as her sidekick. I think that relationship is terrific.
The Matrix guys.
Yeah, the Matrix. Okay.
Yeah, right. This is a movie.
All right. You know what got me this time around that I didn't get? Not like I didn't get before, but I kind of forgot. I think in my head, when I thought, if I, like, before today, had to remember a scene during the big robot fight in Zion, the mechs are kind of like the ones from Avatar, right? And they're similar. But in this...
They're kind of like the ones from Avatar because they're kind of like the ones from Aliens, and so are the Avatar ones.
Sure. But this has one big difference, which is they have, like, weird little orangutan arms where both of the arms can be, like, over the head really, really easily. Like, the range of motion of the arms is humongous. And it makes for some really silly-looking robot fighting and shooting and stuff. I did appreciate the design of them, except for that it didn't look interesting. You know,
I would hesitate to call anything they do fighting, since it's just standing in one place and firing guns while yelling.
Yeah. Seems like turrets would be just as good.
And don't leave people just, like, standing in the middle of nowhere where robots can easily murder them.
Right? Like, okay, so the machines come in through the hole, and they just start shooting the hole, and it seems like it's working, and I'm like, awesome. Really cool. But then it doesn't work, and everybody's just kind of stranded in the middle of the, area. And the thing that I find so funny about these mechs is they're guns. So,
yeah,
range weapons, but they still need to be wherever they are. And so that leads to, like, the job of the kids and stuff. Not kids, because he's the only one that's a kid. But, like, they have to, like, run the bullets over to these mechs.
Yeah.
Just leave them next to you, buddy. No one's going to take them.
Someone's got to load them. It's a lot.
I guess. Just have that guy be your... I don't know. It's such an unnecessarily complicated system. Just have the mechs be in the garage, too. You can shoot from the garage. That's a great thing about a gun. They work from any distance.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this whole thing, like, the whole Zion defense could be, like, undone by, I mean, like, we said a bunch of things, like, surround them. Why fight them from one side? But, like, they had those sweet bombs from Reloaded that, like, blew up the Nebuchadnezzar. Like, why wasn't one of those bombs used during the weird Star Wars chase? And B, the fight in Zion should begin with just, like, 80 bombs flooding down the breach hole.
Yeah.
And it's like, we won, guys.
Well, I had to save all of them for using on Neo on the surface.
Yeah, right.
Oh my god.
Although the rules of the bombs are, if one explodes, that makes all the rest of them explode in proximity. So, like,
they're all just related.
If you keep them all within, like, 2 feet of each other, I mean, yeah, that would happen with real bombs.
Yeah, like, it's such a crazy... Like, I feel like just if you shoot 1 million bombs, there's going to be one that malfunctions in the real world, like, just law averages, so that's a bad strategy. I guess the machines probably haven't had to do this in ever, I guess. There's never been this, the one goes to Machine City, but
yeah, all the other ones chose to merge with the source and restart Zion.
Yeah. What was I getting at? Oh, right. So, yeah, I think you could just cut all the bits with the mechs out. Just be like, have the bit where the drill shows up, and then it's like, it comes in, and then the Nebuchadnezzar does its little switch, and then... Because nothing happens. There's no escalation whatsoever. And even when they win, the guy isn't happy about it. So it's like, it doesn't even feel like a victory for us, the audience. So it really is so pointless. What do you think they were going for? Or, like, what do you think the thought process was?
Was this before or after Lord of the Rings?
I don't know. Well, it's right around the same time, right?
Like,
wasn't
concurrent.
2003, yeah, right, like, right up there. Although, I guess Lord of the Rings, those were 01, 02, 03, right? Yeah, I think
Something
so.
like that, yeah.
So, like, even 01, like, 02 is really when the big battle stuff starts, so they wouldn't have been able to, like, crib that.
Is
that what you're saying, Diggins? It was like a total
rip. It does feel very much like that.
I was going to say
agree.
They wanted those Helm's Deep vibes. Not necessarily a total rip, but, that was like a thing that was really well done in Two Towers, and maybe they were, taking like more along the lines of, I'm saying they had a pre-existing idea in the script that there was going to be this battle for Zion, and they decided to model it somewhat on Helm's Deep. But if they did that, they did a bad job, because Helm's Deep, what makes Helm's Deep so interesting is that the circumstances change constantly. They're constantly like losing positions and falling back and doing new things.
And our main characters are at the forefront of the fight, so all of the danger is felt with the, like, oh, hope Legolas doesn't die. Oh, hope Gimli doesn't die. But with this, it's like, hope what's-his-name doesn't die. Hope Kid doesn't die. Hope Kid dies. Hope most of them die. They're all jerks. How about that kid, man? We hadn't talked about him yet. I call him Flimbo.
Sucks.
But
I like Flimbo.
he's just like the
Flimbo?
most like, oh, hey, sucks. I gotta go help the... He really is like the little kid from Starship Troopers.
Oh, maybe he's Scooter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He could
that's dead on.
If he's not Scooter, he could be the one that they made for the movie whose name I can't remember. That's like
Walter?
also nothing.
I think it's Walter.
Walter, yeah.
That'd be good.
He could be Walter, or he could be the actor, the guy from that movie as well. Just get him back.
Jason
What about Flim
Segel?
Flam? Could he be Flim Flam?
Jason Segel, yeah.
Wait,
Flim
from
Flam.
the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, that kid's the worst. I hate him so much. I'm sure the actor's fine. He's just awful.
I don't hate the kid. I don't like him, but I don't hate
I
him.
do. I hate him so much. I fills me with rage.
I kind of hate him. I think he's just like so boring. He's like, and that's the other problem with this movie. Like, I get it if Morpheus and Trinity, they can't be in the house, like they can't be at home. They have to be out on the trip, so they can't be part of this cool mech fight. But they just replace them with like characters with no personality. So it's like even more egregious. It'd be like if in an Avengers movie, like the Iron Man couldn't go because he was on the other side of the planet. So instead they got like, I don't know, Darcy from Thor to be the new one. And it's like, I didn't hate you before, but you're not the one I wanted. And you're worse than them by a mile. So I hate you, actually.
Yeah, it would be lame if they took like a movie and alluded to Iron Man, but put like a lesser guy in, like Spider-Man, to just, do all this stuff instead. That'd be a real shame if a Marvel movie did that, right, guys? Real bummer.
In what world is Spider-Man a lesser guy than Iron Man?
I don't know, like in the MCU for sure, right?
I don't know. We will see.
I don't know.
You guys not buying what I'm selling?
Can I tell you something? This is something I thought I had today.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Matrix 4, by the way. I'm like...
Oh, really?
I'm terrified for it because I just don't see a path forward after this movie. So, like, I don't know what it is.
I think you're missing the obvious angle on what this Matrix 4 is, but finish your thought first.
I see. Okay, yeah. So I've been thinking about it a lot, and I realized, like, I'll see the Spider-Man movie. I am just not into it. I don't know what it is.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm
still
like
totally in the can
this.
for all the Marvel stuff and like Kingpin or whatever. Maybe, who knows if he'll show up in Hawkeye, but like shit like that, I'm totally down for. And Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I think part of it is just like what I enjoy about these movies frequently is the new things. And this movie is none of that. It's just old things. And it's like, I know what it's going to be like when Andrew Garfield shows up. I've seen those movies. It's going to be like that.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah.
I love this take, Nando. I love this take.
It's
phenomenal.
This has been my take the whole time.
But it's Nando giving it. He's like in the can for Marvel.
I really
Diggins,
am.
you're already, you're Mr. Auteur, cool movies. I watch Wes Anderson with while reading my copy of The New Yorker.
If you guys think I'm the anti-Marvel person, then you haven't seen real anti-Marvel people. I still watch and generally like these things.
It's not anti-Marvel, but you bring the culture. Nando brings the comic stuff in the back for Marvel, and I'm the handsome one. It's weird. This is the
I don't
boy
know.
band dynamic.
I think we can get a lot more specific with our roles in this. Anybody want to break out the research?
Like, if you came out and
By the way, I emailed her to ask if it was cool if we mentioned it a little bit more explicitly on the podcast, and she says it's cool.
okay,
We're in an academic paper.
Then.
It's terrific. It's so fun.
A kind listener, an extremely kind, maybe too kind listener.
Far too kind.
Far too kind.
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, they wrote this before we did the last two episodes that are exclusively about Felicia.
Well, they use the words low culture, so
That's
maybe dead
fair.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, the Merovingians is as high culture as it comes, you know? There's a big difference, too, between a Dan Aykroyd and a Ben. Like, it really, it's the most fancy and least fancy on-screen the versions of that have ever happened. But anyway, sorry, go on.
This kind listener happened to be doing some kind of graduate school research into podcast film criticism. And so, as part of her dissertation, she included many long passages of examining different podcasts and their niches and their styles, including ours. So she sent it to us, and we read a bunch of it, and it's really cool. I feel a little owned by it, but it's awesome.
It's so dead on. It's so
what were
dead
your
on.
two phrases that you texted us, Diggins, that are the two that are you?
Oh, right. These are two things that are explicitly describing me, so it's not even like I'm reading into it.
Yeah, one of them was like the nice friend who knows at trivia or something like that.
No,
like
that's way nicer than the things. The friend who uses sarcasm to avoid voicing an actual opinion. And then the more serious friend you bring to trivia because they know things.
That's it.
Those,
Yep.
I feel very owned by.
So accurate, though.
So good. And yeah, and DJ, like they said, it's the handsome one. Just
That's
he was
really
quoting the
what it boils
paper
down
when he
to.
just said that.
Yeah,
That is in there.
I just quoted that. Yeah, it's DJ,
But wait.
DJ's so handsome.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh yeah,
I tried to get excited for this movie. I really am, but not even seeing it on opening night. I'm gonna see it the next day. Like,
Well, that's only because all the tickets sold out immediately.
Yeah, you didn't give your left kidney for a ticket, Nando. So
I didn't even check. I didn't try. I knew it was Spider Monday. I was so aware. It was all over the Twitters, and I was just like, I'll see it when I see it. I don't know.
Is this a mislead by Nando? So
if it is,
like, guys,
Nando
it
is
turns
also
me
misled
around.
by it.
This is a work. Nando's working
I mean,
us.
well, it could be my brain being like, don't get your hopes up, because I mean, I try not to read too much into this, but from what I hear, there are like no screenings of this before the movie comes out for critics or something like that. So
is that like a bad sign?
I mean, it's not a great sign. It's not an amazing sign. Like, I remember thinking about that and being like, well, I guess there's some surprises. And first of all, there aren't. There's 3 people that are in it, and we know they're in it, and they haven't said they're in it, but we know they are. But beyond that, it's like, even if there are surprises, like, I saw Endgame in a screening a week before, like, that's fine. They just trust you to not tell people. I don't know. I think maybe part of me is like, I don't want to get my hopes up and have them dashed, so I'm just gonna go in as like mid as possible. But yeah, I don't know.
Surprises me.
Surprises me
surprises
too.
me.
I don't know. I'm excited for it. I want to see Willem Dafoe. He's cool. I like him.
I'm trying to think like the Diggins equivalent. Like, what would be the surprising thing where I'd be like, Diggins, I can't believe it. This would be like if Nando said he didn't like Spider-Man. It'd be like,
If I liked the third Matrix movie. No, that's extremely in character. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, if you said you didn't like, you weren't excited for the 4th one, maybe? I don't know.
I mean,
I'm not
like excited because I share some of your apprehensions, Nando. I don't know about going back to it after all these years, but I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah. Now, I can see a million ways where, crashes and burns, but I also trust the people behind it enough that it's like, that's just my lack of imagination here, because they made Speed Racer and that movie's awesome. So like, who am I to judge?
Well,
but just like on its face, a movie that continues this story scares me.
Only Lana Wachowski is involved. The other
true.
one whose name escapes me is not involved.
Lily?
Yeah, I don't
Lily,
see a
that's
world
right.
where Lily also, they haven't chatted about this before though, Like, I feel like ever since these are going on, because it's not really even the finer points at all that bother me or like worry me. It's just the big picture. Like, did this Matrix movie that we just watched happen in context of that movie? Like, who is alive, who's not alive? And I feel like that stuff they have chatted about many a time of like, what do we do with this next one? And but I don't know. Anyway, so big fight in Zion.
Yeah.
Can you
It's
tell
fine.
that we don't want to talk about it?
There's nothing to talk about. Nothing happens. That's the problem.
A bunch of robots make a big fist and punch the command center, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that
you know
was
what?
kind of cool.
The thing about the robots, and seeing it again, it's like, I remember seeing concept art that was released after the fact for the Avengers Ultron movie, and it's the best. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's like it's a concept that they didn't use at all, where all the Ultron bots came together to make one giant Ultron, and
That would be cool.
it's dope as hell. And if that that works with Ultron because he's like a guy, and it's like, you know, he conceptually sees himself as one figure before anything else. But with the machines, it really is so weird that they're like, we're gonna make a big swirl like guys that zip and zap around. Like, have you, the machines, determined that this weird little stream of guys is the most efficient way to do this? Why?
Right?
Why this? But
I mean, they're not wrong, but it's like a sheer numbers thing. It's like, you know, it's like at the end of a game of Risk where if you just have more numbers, you get to win by the math of it all.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess it's like one of those.
like, I feel
Never
like
start a land war in Asia.
thinking about this bit again, it's crazy that this doesn't happen at the same time as the finale, you know?
Like the big punching stuff.
Yeah.
That there's like a little reprieve where it's like, Neo, he fights for us.
Well, and just like I think about this, and I think honestly, if we're thinking about things that this is compared to, and like probably shares a lot of DNA with, it's like the Star Wars prequels because they came out around the same time. But like, for all of its problems, Phantom Menace does manage to stitch together the ending where all four big things are happening at once. And I don't think, you know, they're particularly well stitched together, but like, you have the fight in the throne room with Padme and all her guards. You have the fight in the like laser room with all the Jedis. You have Anakin up in space, and then you have little, what's his name, Flam, whatever. What is his name? Jar Jar. You have Jar Jar in the field fighting so like, everything has to lead to the next thing, and it's like all of the fights are dependent on one another. So even if you're not incredibly invested in one thing, you do get the sense of like momentum. But with this, it's just like this weird thing that happens and ends, and it's like, if this is going on at the same time, maybe not the whole thing, but like Neo and Trinity are trying to fly through the city and like doing their, you know, plane thing, and it's like, we have to do this to keep the machines busy or something, which I'm now realizing is Lord of the Rings. But like, then it has stakes that make any sense. But with this, it's just this other thing. It may as well be a coincidence that it happened on the same day. Like, because as once Neo gets into Machine City and it's like, here's the plan, the machines can stop killing them. Like, so it's pointless, if anything.
And that's like the problem with it, and like the lack of caring. It's, you don't have any of those elements. You don't have tension from success being required. You don't have tension from worrying about characters, because that could be the opposite, right? It's like, well, maybe it doesn't matter in the grand scheme, but I don't want Morpheus to die. You have neither of those things, so then you just kind of have nothing.
Yeah. If Morpheus was that main mech pilot instead, and it wasn't that guy, who is fine, but like, that would be so...
Captain Mifune is his name.
Yeah. I like him enough. There were a lot of times in the beginning where I was like, this isn't that Lennox guy, is it? That other guy? But it's not. It's a different guy. But everybody has the same haircut in the Matrix. What does they say? But yeah, if that's Morpheus, that whole fight is cool. Honestly, like...
Yes. Or do what I said. Put him in a giant mech. Put him in a big... Make it a fucking anime. Get Guillermo del Toro. He'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro is your reference for anime?
He's an anime
for big
man.
mech fighting.
He did do the Pacific Rim.
That's true.
He did do that.
He did do the Pacific
That's why I made that point
Rim.
of reference.
He also did Pan's Labyrinth. Was there any mech fighting in Pan's Labyrinth? I haven't seen it in a while.
What do you define as a mech?
Yeah, that's a good question. Are we all mechs in our own bodies, you know?
Ratatouille is a mech, because Ratatouille is piloting Linguini, or Remy. Wow, I just did the meme on accident.
You did.
What if Zelda was a girl, you know?
it.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Oh, man. But no. I mean, anything else about that fight? I don't know. There were some cool shots where the big wave of machine, squid thingies were doing cool stuff. Like, that was cool, I guess. I also just wish there was more color and light and stuff. Separate things from the background.
You know what's cool about that fight?
What?
That I'm going to talk about the fight with Bane now instead.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, let's talk about the baby. Hey.
Yeah. So Neo and Trinity go off to go to the Machine City, right? And I forget exactly when in the context of the big Zion battle this happens. Or if it's like before it or during it or something.
It's like fully before. Because I feel like the Zion stuff is almost unbroken action.
Yeah, wait, no, you're right, because the people on, like, right after it starts happening, the people on the other ship are like, Bane killed the Doctor, and now he's not here. Oh, no. We can't go back, though, because we've got to get to Zion, so let's just all imagine together what the fight would look like with Bane when we get back to Bane. But yeah, so Smith in Bane's body has snuck onto Niobe's ship that Neo is now piloting. And he turns it off, or he messes with it a little bit so that Trinity goes and looks. He kidnaps Trinity, which is unfortunate. She gets to fight him a little cool. I kind of appreciate that the fight scene in the not Matrix, like, isn't cool in the way that fights in the Matrix are, because that makes sense.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
agree
mean?
about that. I like that it is like kind of dirty and grimy, like a dirty, grimy rave, as opposed to a cool, sexy Merovingian rave.
Right. But so we end up with a standoff where he's got Trinity at knife point and Neo's got a gun, but Neo puts the gun down because he doesn't want Trinity to die. And then they just get into a big fist fight, and Neo takes forever to realize that it's Smith.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Just forever.
It's so hard to believe. Like, we know it as the audience, but, like, you know, how would you even conceive of that happening?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I guess part of me, would be like, this can't have possibly happened. But also, I feel like once you're Neo, you got to figure all bets are off. Like, and Agent Smith is the bad guy. So, like, you know, no one talks like that in the real world either. Like, so I feel like
no one in the real world calls him Mr. Anderson. How would Bane even know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. It's the only person to ever call him that. Like, that would be the kind of, wait, what?
But it's
and
the
he keeps
first
saying
thing
stuff
he
like,
does.
that time you killed me in Matrix 1. And it's like, all right, who did he kill in Matrix 1? Oh, Neo. That was Morpheus. Like, or, not Morpheus. Yeah, it's Morpheus. No, that was Mr. Smith. So, you know, that's handy. But also, yeah, I think it would be tricky if he wasn't doing an amazing impression. If he was just saying words like a normal person, I'd be like, maybe I don't see it. But yeah, he's doing such a good impression, you can blink and like close your eyes and it's might as well just be that actor, Hugo Weaving. It's insane.
Yeah, so
that was fun.
They do a big fight. Trinity turns off the lights to save Neo, but then they tumble around a little bit more until Smith gets the upper hand by putting an electrical wire directly in Neo's face and burning out his eyes, which is
Owie.
a lot more brutal than I was expecting.
Yeah. I mean, there's two really brutal face things that happen in this movie. This is the first one. I kind of feel like Neo got off super lucky in that instance.
Because he's alive and he still looks handsome.
No brain damage. Yeah, he still looks pretty good. Put on that little, bandana thing. You're fine.
But then we get a cool moment where he's wandering around blind trying to find Smith, and Smith is like toying with him. But then right as Smith goes in for the killing blow, it turns out Neo can still see him because he can sense the source flowing through programs and machines in the real world.
Yeah.
He was playing possum.
I mean, I don't know if he's playing possum as much as he was just kind of like figuring it out, but maybe.
And then he kicks Smith's head so hard it explodes.
Does he hit it with a tire iron or something?
Maybe it's the tire iron. Whatever he hits Smith's head with, he does it so hard it explodes.
Yeah, it's a big hit.
Well, you can see it in Matrix Vision. Or, like, Neo Fire Vision.
Daredevil Vision. He does Daredevil.
Daredevil Vision. That's a good
World
way to
on
put it.
Fire, Marvel Netflix Daredevil Vision. Like, it's so similar. I remember seeing that, like, the first, like, this, or seeing the Marvel Netflix and being like, oh yeah, that happened in Matrix. Kind of remember that. Because it's not just like, it is like fire, like red fire, like not like green like everything else has been in the Matrix. Yeah, he hits him with like some sort of like metal tool thing and just like, blasts his head into a million pieces. It's pretty awesome. Like, yeah, it's pretty good.
And It is interesting. Like, this is a climactic thing that happens, and then we get no Neo and Trinity for what feels like 30 minutes, so we can do Zion.
Right around
I'm pretty
30
sure
minutes.
it is
yeah.
literally 30 minutes.
It's
That's
like,
crazy.
because that happens right at the hour mark, and then the Zion fight ends around an hour and a half in.
Damn.
Yeah, it sucks. It's bad. They shouldn't do it. Like, it should be, like, and it is, I mean, you know, managing this movie has to be, like, just an insurmountable task. So, and it's very ambitious, but yeah, when people talk about, like, pacing and stuff like that being an issue in movies, I feel like this is one of the biggest, you know, cautionary tales of, like, don't do a big weird mech battle for no reason. Also,
Do one big weird mech in a battle.
also that bit where,
Obviously.
yeah, exactly, just one big mech swatting at little guys. I was gonna say, the bit where Mr. Smith has Trinity, I was like, hey, kill her, bro. He, like, dumps her down a little hole, like...
Well, if he kills her, he's dead.
But that's
Why,
after
though?
Neo puts the gun down. Nando's
Yeah.
saying that once Neo has put down the gun, just slit Trinity's throat and go for the gun.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's good that he does it, because we like her, but, like, it felt like a weird kind of, I don't know, move for Agent Smith to be like, well, we've got a hostage situation here going, but I can't kill her right now because that's not what the movie wants. So he slips her into a little trapdoor.
Maybe it would have taken, like, too long, and, like, you know, he could have gotten Neo would have gotten the jump. I don't know.
It's certainly possible.
Maybe he was worried about giving Neo a rage power-up.
Also possible.
Yeah, little stat boost.
There was one, like, I do think that, yeah, their fight was interesting. And he's good. He's a good character, even when it's not the same actor. He's such a good guy.
When the actor, like, pitch perfect emulates that actor, then, you know.
Yeah, but just that vibe, that's such a cool villain. Mr. Smith is so fucking good.
Yeah, it's true.
It seems like from a recent trailer, well, I won't spoil it, but yeah, I'll just say we'll see about the new one.
We'll
I don't think
see.
Mr. Smith is in it. That's like, it's not, Hugo Weaving is not in it, but who the fuck knows what this movie even is. All right, I'm skipping the mech
Really
fight.
surprised.
So that puts us in another bit of Star Wars where they fly around and stuff, and the machines do bombs, and the whole bombs explode. They're all right next to each other. It's just adorable.
Right. Because Trinity's flying now, and the machines are trying to stop them from reaching the machine city. But so they send, like, wave after wave of bombs, but Neo can use his source sense to detonate them from afar, so it doesn't affect
His
them.
force powers.
Yeah,
His force
powers. Yeah, and it seems like he really just detonates the center one, at least to me. But do you think he detonates all of them?
Well, I think he detonates maybe a few of them, and just because
Okay.
they're all right next to each other, they all start blowing up. Because it does seem like when the Sentinels start attacking the ship, he does have trouble with there being too many of them.
Right, yeah. That's interesting. Also, yeah, they do put on the bandana because his face looks weird now. I get it.
They don't want to look at Trini doesn't want to look at his gross eyes.
Yeah. I mean, it really, and like, I feel like the Wachowskis are very aware of comics in general. It feels like a very Daredevil move of like, put the bandana on even though you're blind kind of thing. Yeah, and you can see in real life, but yeah, this was before using the other movie that everyone hates came out. And I think it's pretty cool.
With Ben Affleck.
We could do that next week.
Go.
Yeah, because he might be in Spider-Man No Way Home. Who knows? Not that one. That would be so fucking funny.
Aren't we doing Spider-Man No Way Home tomorrow?
Well, it doesn't come out until next week.
Next time.
Yeah, we have a gap week.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we didn't for some reason. I thought there was something that comes out this week that we were going to do.
Nope. I mean, I'll look on to see if anything comes out this weekend, but I don't think so.
Yeah, it's not West Side Story. That's all I can think of.
I'm just a moron.
That would be so funny, though, because Foggy Nelson in that universe is Jon Favreau. So, like, he could show up and be like, Happy Hogan, you're so sexy. And then they just kiss each other for a while. That feels like what those two characters would do. So they fly around a lot. Trinity does a maneuver or something. And she pumps the gas. And they do a Serenity. Firefly or whatever.
Yeah.
She lands the ship all cool, but then gets stabbed by the thing that she lands the ship into.
Although before that, they fly up through the eternal cloud cover that the humans created to try to destroy the machines, A point which I think doesn't get emphasized enough, that this hellscape that the planet is actually the humans' fault.
Yeah.
Right? And probably a pretty stupid idea.
Yeah. But they break through the cloud cover and see, like, the sky and the sun and the moon. And Trinity's like, it's beautiful. And I thought that was pretty cool.
It was cool.
I agree. That was cool.
Her eyes would explode out of her head. She would not be able to just look at the sun after never having seen the sun ever. But
Being like, oh, cool. That's fun.
it's pretty great.
Unless because she's been in the Matrix and seen the Matrix sun, her eyes
That's
think
true.
she's seen the sun and have gotten used to it because because your mind makes it real.
It's a good point. But Diggins, the Matrix isn't real.
Or is it?
Or is it?
What defines real?
Yeah. Speaking of real,
Mr.
Trinity dies.
Kelly. Oh, no.
All stabbed. Very much stabbed. In the beginning, you're like, stabbed 1, and it's like, no, stabbed 4. And it's like, okay, I guess she is dead.
That's too many stabs.
And she whispers a bunch of things to Neo as he's dying.
About how she loves him, and she was sad that she didn't tell him she loved him before the last time she thought she was going to die. But then she came back, and she could tell him she loves him. So now that she's dying again, she's telling him she loves him.
Yeah.
There is a lot of whispering at this point. Like at these points, there's the whisper that the captain does. You have to get to the gate. If you get to the gate, then there'll be a chance. One chance. I never did the simulation either. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I get to the thing.
Yeah.
That's
DJ
one.
Really hit that ASMR demo for us.
Oh, for real. And then number 2 was when Z is like, do it, kid, to like blow up the thing.
Right,
Where
yeah.
you think you went there, you want like a do it, kid. That's like what you want.
Yeah, the machines aren't listening. Speak as loud as you want. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
They're
right.
swarming
Like,
around
it's a
in big streams of robots.
It's a war zone. You can give a little bit of oomph.
Yeah, he can't hear you with your whispers. Doesn't matter how close you are. Everything's exploding around him.
It's like, what do you want me to do?
Also, like, all the metal, the sound has to be just fucking echoing like crazy. It's not a good environment to have a war.
Yeah, bad war environment.
Bad war environment.
So yeah, Trinity has a lot of whispering, and then she dies. And then Neo's like, no, I'm sad. I don't know. Do you think of Keanu Reeves acting for this movie? I feel like there's a lot more of him going on, which I thought was cool. I mean, some Keanu Reeves acting, being sad and stuff.
He's good.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this point every Matrix podcast, I think, but I understand why people say he's wooden, but I think that there is kind of like a more layered performance under that, both in the sense of he becomes a reflection for you that you can see yourself in, and then also, I don't know, like when he really needs to be emoting, he always does, you know? Like in the scene where Trinity's dying, he seems genuinely broken up about it.
Yeah.
Which makes it more obvious that the more flat affect is a choice.
Right.
I don't know. I think it works.
Yeah. I agree. He's a good actor.
And then he walks into the Matrix. Speaking of good actors, we didn't really talk about him, but there's a whole bit where Morpheus is yelling at the other guy, and they're at like council. A lot more Cornel West in this one.
Yeah,
It's a lot of lines.
Which a kind listener who goes by the Twitter name of the special name that's really cool and good.
I think it's at Jack. I think this was Jack Dorsey.
Yep, that was it.
He's not Twitter CEO anymore, so he's got lots of time on his hands.
Jared Barr 99 at Jared Barr 99 told us that the Wachowskis said Cornel West was a huge influence on them and on the first movie. Said he was later invited to do a commentary track, so that's why he has a little cameo in these two movies, is because they just like him and think he's a big influence.
Yeah, I feel like I'd like to listen to that commentary track a lot, and I feel like there should be more of those. Just get a guy who's a cool guy who's smart, that's a fan of your movie, to be a commentary track on it. You know?
Yeah.
Be wild.
As opposed to dipshits like us doing commentary tracks for movies.
That too, yeah. But just get get someone who's like a smart guy like Cornel West, who's another like, academic philosopher guy or something.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Joe Rogan.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, wow, we named two good ones. Who's the person that we all think is... Who's like a smart person? I don't know. Like, maybe not Aaron Sorkin, but let's say Aaron Sorkin, right? Have him do a commentary on like a Spider-Man movie he didn't write but liked. I'd just like to hear that. That'd be interesting. I want more of that. Because it's like, with the commentary with the director, it's like, yeah, I know. You really liked this scene. It was cool to write. This day was cold, like all that stuff. But I want to hear other weirder stories. Then maybe I'd listen to him. Probably not, though, so don't listen to me, Marvel, or whatever. So he goes to talk to the big baby face, which I looked at again, and it's a baby. It's a fucking... There's no way they didn't go for baby with this. And it's a big swirling machine baby face, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a baby face made out of smaller robots that fly around in the air in front of the big Sauron eye.
Yeah, it's a cool visual. It's a little weird that it's a baby, but it's kind of cool. I totally forgot it. Like, I remember, like, when I was watching this time, I was like, where does he go? Like, who is this next confrontation with? Because I know he talks to the machines, but what is that visualized as? And it's like, oh, right, just some fucking baby face. Not cool, but maybe cool. I don't know. Maybe it is
Should have been
cool.
like an Andros face. That would have been sick.
Yeah.
Big monkey man that turns into a big brain.
Yeah, I'd love that. But yeah, he's like, Neo's like, you can't win, machine, and that Smith's gonna fuck you up. And the machine's like, "Rawr! No. But yeah, okay, we have a deal.
Yeah, but Neo's
I'm
like,
not happy about it.
You know that with my help, you can beat Smith. So if you don't kill the humans, I'll help you beat Smith.
He's like, okay, me like cookie.
And then he makes a bunch of tentacles that get him and plug him into the Matrix.
He makes one of those like art house chairs that you see sometimes that are just made up of like a few wires that don't seem like they would support your weight, but people pay a lot of money for them, so I guess they must.
And his is like a dentist chair kind of one too, because his arms are out because he's Jesus and stuff. Like it's a whole setup. It's crazy.
Yeah, but that allows him to jack into the Matrix.
Yeah. For the final battle between him and Smith, which is fine.
It's not the worst part of this movie.
I enjoyed it. I'll admit, as far as fight choreography goes, it is certainly not one of the more impressive fights in this trilogy, but I enjoy it for like the emotional and philosophical aspects to it, where it's kind of like this clash between Neo and Smith. And like the little snippets of conversation they have during the fight. I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Plus it's raining really hard, and sometimes they punch each other and the rain like ripples out for a little bit before falling again. And that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Is that why it was raining so hard?
Same reason it rained in Squid Game, just because it's dramatic.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen...
That's what this movie was missing, was a man to be saying in like really clearly enunciated English, it's like the weather knows that it's appropriate. Or whatever they said.
This fight in general reminds me a lot of, like, because, you know, we didn't have Man of Steel or even Superman Returns, but we had lots of Superman cartoons like that, you know, Superman, The Adventures of Superman or whatever. And there were some fights in that which were this same kind of, like, big punch and then all the windows break and the, you know, big shockwave stuff. It looks a lot like... I feel like if you were a regular adult who saw this, you'd be like, wow, amazing, never before seen. And if you're a man-child or whatever like me, you'd be like, oh, right, it's kind of like Superman. That's pretty cool. But I just wish, and I know why he's not dressed this way, but I kind of wish Neo was wearing white or some other color, because it's a lot of black flying around. And I just wish there was contrast. Like, the shots are interesting, and there's, like, they do a lot of interesting things with framing and keeping the way the characters move, and I think that helps, but I don't know. It's very same looking.
There is a part of me that wonders, like, would it have been cool if Neo did fight, like, 100 million Smiths at one point, where Smith gets frustrated and just like, fuck this, and they're like, get him, and he's gotta, like, fight them all or something like that.
More,
just to, like, vary it up a little.
Yeah. Double more, triple more.
I guess they kind of figured they already did that with the Burly Brawl.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, like, what would
Burly
it
Brawl
be?
times 2?
Like, Yeah, it would just be him doing big, like Hadokens at them, because if it's a billion people, he would have a hard time fighting them. Also, are all the Mr. Smiths Mr. Smith, or is this one the only one that can fly?
I'm not
I
sure.
think they were so interchangeable.
I feel like
I think so too, but they aren't, right?
I think this one is a little special because he has the eyes of the Oracle, but I think that's the only difference.
Right. That makes sense.
So,
yeah, I don't know what I would have wanted from this instead of, I don't know. I don't know. I really like, how in the first movie they do real kung fu at each other, and it's so good. It's so slick and cool. And this is very much the opposite of that, which I don't think is terrible in any movie, but I find it a little bit unsatisfying here. Like, they get some, real hand-to-hand combat in, but not as much as I'd hope.
Yeah. I can
it's
see
mostly
that.
punch and fly really far away. Whoa.
Like, there's one bit where they go into a building and do some fighting together.
Yeah.
And then there's the other bit where they're in the crater punching each other. But even that is very animated. And, I mean, there's that one shot where his face turns into a fucking big piece of Play-Doh. But, yeah, it's not
Neo
the same kind of thing.
The come over here thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Fun. Just the thing.
But I mean, I guess what I really like about this scene is more once he smashed Neo into the crater and Neo's like down and he's going like, "Why, Mr. Anderson? Why do you persist? Why?"
Yeah.
I like that stuff. Like, I love that speech in particular. That was just like Hugo Weaving's making a meal of that speech.
Yeah, he's great.
Just absolutely hamming it up, and it's great.
He's very good at it.
He is very good. But then what does he learn, or what happens to him?
Well, DJ, you go. I've done some.
No, I was just going to say, it turns out you can't be so gluttonous with your taking over literally everyone in the Matrix. And it turns out, like, the Oracle makes him explode or something?
Okay.
Well,
so
it's a little bit more than that. But yeah, Diggins.
So yeah, Smith kind of wins the fight. They're like both really exhausted, and Neo seems like he could keep going, but Neo's down for a moment. And Smith realizes like, oh, I saw a vision of this with my Oracle powers. And he says the thing that the Oracle said to him before, which is everything that has a beginning has an end. But
Neo. That's like he says Neo.
Yes, he does, because he's quoting the Oracle here. And he kind of doesn't realize that he doesn't understand why he says that. And this is where what the Oracle said comes into play. He saw this vision, but he can't see past it because he doesn't understand Neo's choice, because he doesn't understand any choice, because he's incapable of comprehending that aspect of people, which is why he can't really use the Oracle powers to their fullest. But anyway, so after having received this message, Neo lets Smith assimilate him, and he turns into a Smith. And so this is what happens, like, plot-wise in this scene. Like, besides its, thematic and philosophical meaning, what is happening here is Smith does not realize that Neo is connected to the Matrix in the Machine City. And because he has turned Neo into a Smith, that means the machines now have a connection back to Smith. And they use it to do a hard reset on the Matrix and erase him from it.
Okay.
That was the actual plan that Neo and the machines had, wasn't I can beat up Smith, it was I can go in the Matrix, and if he assimilates me, then you can erase him.
So why fight?
So
why not fight?
A, why not? B, if he just goes up and says, all right, Smith, assimilate me, there's no way Smith is going to be like, sounds good. He'll be like, this is a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And visually what happens?
Neo explodes into a golden cross of light.
And his little tentacles become angel wings.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's a white light. It's a beautiful white light.
Yeah, and all the Smiths have they all have glasses on, but all their eyes turn white underneath the glasses, and then their heads explode. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a funny visual. I mean, they're their heads don't explode scanners, but they all just go wait, this can't be it. And then they all die. It's pretty cool.
Well, the main Smith is like, no, it's not fair. No.
Right.
No,
and then he turns back into the Oracle?
Yes, that's weird, right?
I was confused about that as well.
I think in the process of resetting, all the Smiths turn back into who they are.
That makes sense.
Yeah, just the
And
fact
that's
that
why-
one zoned in on the Oracle gives you a little bit of like a huh.
And I guess
Yeah.
part of it too is that like that isn't the same actress we're familiar with, maybe. So like as when I saw it the first time, I was like, that's not Smith, and that's somebody else. But yeah, I guess it's the Oracle, which I guess makes sense because I guess it's weird because he's using her body. That's the body he's driving.
Yeah.
Does he have an original body at all? Did that ever exist?
It's hard to know.
Yeah,
I mean,
mean-
it could be the one who like yelled at him and reloaded and gave like, "Oh, I'm unplugged now."
Oh, I guess the real
Presumably-
one is the one that was in Bane, or could
Oh,
be.
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I would guess the original one is obviously the one in Matrix 1 before he learned to assimilate people.
Right.
But yeah, I guess we don't really know who that one is. I think that to Smith, the only like distinction that matters is the one with the eyes of the Oracle. I don't think who the quote unquote original one is matters to him.
That makes sense. And then all the machines go away, and it's nice.
It's like peace, I guess.
Yeah,
Well,
and
the
then
machines-
Morpheus goes... Oh, sorry?
I was just gonna say the machines decide to honor the bargain, even though Neo is dead and nobody knows that any kind of bargain was made. But the machines are the secret heroes of this franchise who were totally in the right the whole time. So they're like, well, he did help us and we did promise, so yeah, okay.
And then, like I said, Morpheus, the main character like that's left, and the hero, runs up to all the people in the city, and it's like, we won, and he gives a big cool speech, right?
Well,
Yep. That's
Well-
exactly what happens.
Well,
maybe you guys are watching the like director's cut or the special edition or something where that happens.
Uh-huh.
Or the fever dream. the
Yeah.
fever dream
Yeah.
cut.
Because, see, I saw a very similar scene with one minor, barely even noticed it change.
oh, what is it?
Morpheus had no shirt on.
Ooh, now that's what I'm talking
Similar. Morpheus was wearing a shirt, but he was also the kid.
No, Flimbo Jambo or whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever
He
you said
runs
his
out
name
and gets
was,
the
Flimbo.
big final thing and is cool.
And it's
That
like,
sucks.
yeah, we won, everybody. It's over.
And everybody's like, who are you?
And
I
everybody's
guess.
like, we're having a big rave orgy tonight.
Yeah.
It would have been so good if he like called that early and like the machines actually turn around and be like, "Oh no, fuck this, we're killing these people."
Yeah. And then Neo's like, or not Neo, Morpheus, I guess, would be like, where did you find him? And like, oh, you met him once. I guess. Is he in charge now? Why is he the one? What happened? I get that a lot of your guys died, but who the fuck is this? And then
God.
and then yeah, the Oracle and what's his name talk a little bit.
The architect.
The architect, there we go. So many
It's
names.
like a one sentence exchange.
Yeah, and then
Well, the
that's
architect
end.
agrees that anybody who wants to leave the Matrix and is still in it is allowed to leave.
Wouldn't that be all of them?
I don't know. Would you leave the Matrix? I don't know if I would.
There's the Cyphers of the world, the Joey Pantses of the world, who would prefer to be in
Yeah.
the Matrix.
Plus, like, if you know you're in the Matrix, you can do superpower shit. Like, you can't, I guess, without leaving the Matrix, but, like, it'd be, I don't know. Flies around. That's pretty cool.
I mean, clearly it doesn't work out for everyone.
That's true. And, but also, like, now, like, your Seraphs and your code guys are just around in the Matrix now, too. So, like, did they get to, like come out of the closet? Or, like, do people know who they are now?
I don't
I
know.
probably just assume they're people.
But, like, if people can leave the Matrix, they have to know what the Matrix is, right?
Yeah, I guess like the Zion people still have to do their shtick where like they go in and they jack in and like it's probably still that, but there's probably no like fight to like stop them from getting people out of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like everyone gets a one-time choice. It's like you tell them what the deal is. You're like, okay, simulated world. Either you can go out into the real world and like go to Zion and join everybody there, or if you want to stay here, we'll wipe your memory of this and you'll never know that it's not the real world.
What would you guys do if you, in this situation, so not first movie red pill, blue pill, but like post-Matrixing?
I still think I take the simulation.
Absolutely.
How much
I
do
don't think
they?
any of the facts on the ground.
How much do they tell me about Zion?
I have to assume they tell you something, because I feel like if that's the case, everyone would get there and be like, oh no, I'm leaving a really bad review of Zion. And I feel like if someone was like, here's the 2 pills, and because you'd have to take a second to choose, you'd be like, all right, so this other world, it's just like the one we live in? And they'd be like, it's technically Earth. And I'm like, what does that mean? And then they'd be like, well, it's like, it sucks instead. I'm like, well, no, not that one then. But also, like, yeah, I don't know. Part of me would be like, listen, I want to stay in the simulation, but can you make me a werewolf? Is that possible? It seems like you have some power to fuck around, so...
Can you alter my consciousness so that I feel like I live forever?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I mean, maybe not that, because that's a curse, obviously, but like other things similar to that.
No,
where it's
anyone who wouldn't take immortality is a chump.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Out of your mind. Out of your mind.
Monkey's paw.
So yeah, that's the end, and then they look at the sunset, and it's like green or something. There's a lot of color in that sunset that I'm like...
Yeah, the little girl, she did a good job.
Yeah, and it's great, you know? I mean, it's a good ending for this movie, and they've never made another one, and it's fine.
Uh-huh.
Hey man, maybe Resurrections will be like really good.
How?
I'm holding out hope.
Okay, so now we've done all three of them.
Yeah.
Where do we think the fourth one? What could possibly what could it be?
Well, it seems like a restart to like indoctrination, and you know, people have been like reinserted or something like that.
How did they get them back into the pods?
Back on. Well, like here's the thing: could you regrow the same person, right?
Oh, like a whole nother Neo.
Yeah, whole nother Trinity, like that kind of deal.
Could you do that? I don't see why not. How do the people get made?
They're grown.
Right.
Yeah,
but like from what?
I don't know, cells of other, I don't know, just like cells. I don't know.
So like if they have those cells, then I don't see, I think they could do it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically doing cloning, right? And they talk about how like the dead are liquefied to like feed the young. So
right.
It's like they're probably just doing like mass cloning.
So if that's what happens, what happens next?
I mean, it's sometime later. They've like restarted the war, and I assume we're just getting a whole nother trilogy. And it's like, oh, we got to get out of this pickle.
I guess so. It seems like Trinity's alive in the next one too.
Yeah.
I think what we're dealing with here is, they were talking about how the Matrix is in cycles. This is the 6th Matrix. This is the 7th Matrix.
Yeah, but like it's only in cycles because,
Yeah, like technically Neo broke the wheel, right?
I would have to assume the end of this means there's no more cycles.
But then this movie, this 4th movie is about finding out why there is a new cycle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like a restart to the war. Like something broke down, clearly.
Yeah, I mean,
but it could be so many years later. It could be like 500 years later.
It could be. It could be a lot, yeah. I guess like if he's in the real world, or if like some people are returning in the real world, then I guess they could all be cloned. But I can understand like what's his name. Like I can understand Neo and Trinity getting cloned by the machines, but then like if like I don't know, if what's his name, the one who's from Lost, who's piloting the ship in this movie,
Link.
Yeah, Link. Like if Link's back, then I'm like, well, are the machines cloning Link? Like how is he?
Yeah.
Do you think there's any chance we'll be in a Matrix within a Matrix or something?
That would be dope as fuck.
I don't know. I think it would be bad. I don't know. Ugh, I don't know. I feel like the more it turns out that whatever happened actually didn't happen, the more I'm like, what are you doing, movies? Like, we just did 3 whole movies of that happened, and then if the first thing is like, but actually, that was just Matrix Level 1, time for Matrix Level 2, it's like, then I guess those first 3 movies, I guess fuck me then for watching them, and like...
Yeah.
I'm hoping it is not something that invalidates this original trilogy.
Especially like all the sacrifices and stuff, and like, it's weird.
Maybe this Neo and Trinity are programs.
I thought about that too. Yeah, like copies, like somebody copied them at some point in the other one, and now they're just going around. But I'm almost positive we've seen some sort of footage of them outside of the Matrix in like not even in Zion, but just like with shaved heads or whatever. I don't know about that though. I would love it if the movie only took place in the Matrix.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's mostly the Matrix.
Yeah, I have a feeling it will be.
Yeah, me too.
Because that's the rules. You do one movie mostly in the Matrix, everybody likes it.
Yeah.
And then you slip into like Zion, and then by the 3rd movie, it's all Zion, and it's not as good.
We're running out of rewords.
Yeah.
There's so many rewords, DJ. We'll never run out.
Returnal.
Yeah. The Returnals. Ooh, maybe they can be in it.
The Two Urnals will be the name of that movie, right?
Yeah, we're getting a second Eternals. That's a good thing. I can't wait. We'll see. I don't know. I trust them in terms of that I like them, and even the parts of this movie that I don't like, I still think are good, and I think they are like better than average and stuff. However, I just think making another one of these is so hard. Like, it's such a task. I can't imagine how they're gonna do it. Really interested. Maybe it'll be cool. Who knows? We'll find out soon.
In only
week and a half,
14 days, 2 weeks.
Oh, right. Yeah, 'cause today's Wednesday. Duh. Cool. All right. Well, you guys want to move on to our classic segment?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. DJ, you got anything to recommend to the fine people?
I have a Vigium game to rec to the fine folks. So on Black Friday they had a deal with like Stadia where like if you bought a game that was like worth $30, they would send you the like Stadia Pro Pack, which is a controller, and a Chromecast Ultra like for free.
Oh,
like as part of it, whatever.
That's a cool deal.
And
They're literally giving
about it.
Stadias away.
yeah, they're basically giving them away. And I'm like, oh, I need a Chromecast, so I'm like, instead of buying a Chromecast, I'll just do this. So I decided to take a flyer on a game that I'm like pretty satisfied with. So have you guys heard of Life is Strange?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot on the podcast back in the day.
Yeah. So the first one's like fine. I do not love it. I think it's an okay game. There's a sequel called Life is Strange True Colors where it's like hard to describe, but like you play this girl Alex Chen who like it was in and out of the foster care system. And she has, like, what I would label as, like, extreme empathy. Whereas if, like, someone's feeling a really strong emotion, you could, like, tap into that emotion and feel it, too. And it's, like, weird from a gameplay perspective. But, like, in terms of, like, a storytelling game, I actually think this is one of the better ones that I've played recently. I think that, like, a lot of the... Or, like, the series of games where, like, for a minute... The Telltale. Like, the Telltale games where, like, they're getting, like, too cute by half. It's like, oh, every decision's so important. And, like... everything you do leads to the next thing and blah, 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 blah. And, like, it got kind of tired. But this, it's just, like, there's a game with like, a good setting. It's this, like, little mining town in Colorado with this, like, tight-knit community and, like, good, diverse characters. And it's like, okay, this is good storytelling. The gameplay doesn't really matter because it's a storytelling game. And, like, there's, like, an interesting, like, little quirky mechanic in here that, you know, adds, I don't know, like a 5% element of, like, you know, puzzle stuff. But, like, it's legit good as, like, a storytelling game. So I've been playing it, and I've been enjoying it. I haven't had any, like, because I've been playing it on Stadia, I haven't had, like, any issues. Like, when you first put the game up, it's, like, a little laggy, but then after, like, 5 minutes, it smooths out. But, yeah, I think it's, like, an interesting, like, pretty good storytelling game that, like, I would recommend. And, like, at this point, you could get it, like, anywhere, like, pretty cheap. It just dropped on Nintendo Switch, so for any, like, you Switch heads who want to play it portably, I'm pretty sure it's, like, $30 on Switch or PC. So, yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. Life is Strange, True Colors. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Cool. Diggins, you got anything to recommend?
I do. Eagle-eared listeners may be anticipating this from last week's pod.
Oh, yeah.
But I saw a movie a couple days ago now. A little movie by a filmmaker you may have heard of named Paul Verhoeven, director of such hits as RoboCop. He's out with a new film called Benedetta, which is the story of a nun in like medieval Italy who has visions of Jesus and also starts to fall in love with one of the other nuns. And I hesitate to go into much more detail than that because this movie is bonkers. It is just completely unhinged in the best way. It is a real marriage of late period Paul Verhoeven, who is a lot of his more recent movies are, while still being very like shocking and provocative, are much more thoughtful and cerebral than not that his earlier movies didn't have great themes, because they all did, but
yeah, didn't he make was he the Starship Troopers guy? I
believe so, yes. So yeah, he's always been a sharp thematic filmmaker, but I mean his later period stuff tends to be a little more understated and cerebral in his provocativeness. This is the best possible marriage of both of those approaches, where it does have like a very thoughtful, cerebral quality to it, but it's also completely unhinged and schlocky in the best way.
Huh.
It's okay, let me give you just a little taste. This is a movie that is a thoughtful exploration of the meaning and nature of faith, and how institutional hierarchies can not only stifle but actively smother expressions of genuine faith. But also it's a movie with multiple fart jokes and a scene where an idealized vision of Jesus Christ decapitates a snake with a sword.
You said words.
It's pretty cool.
Who's
in it? Did you say?
It's mostly French actors because it's a French movie. Paul Verhoeven.
Is the Merovingian in it?
I do not think Lambert Wilson is in it, but the Reverend Mother from Dune is in it. Charlotte Rampling.
Oh yeah, I remember her. She was in Dune.
Yeah, she is.
Remember in Dune when they were like, we have to fly the plane above the thing and then cut the engines and fall? And I'm like, that's like from Matrix. He is in it. He's a character named Alfonso / Lenance Messenger.
Oh my god.
The Merovingian is in Benedetta.
I can't believe this. I had no idea.
Yeah. Do you know who that character is? Like, is that ringing bells?
God, that's a very important character. That's the bishop. That's the Bishop of Florence.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to put the Merovingian in if it's in France.
He's great in it, actually. He knocks it out of the park.
Wow. 2 for 2, or 3 for 3 if you count these Matrix movies as 2 movies so far.
But yeah, the main characters are Virginia Efira as Benedetta, the main character. Daphne Patachia as Bartolomea, the other nun she falls in love with. And Charlotte Rampling as the abbess, the head of the abbey.
It feels like a name I should know. Oh, wait, is that the one that you said is the one from Dune?
Yes, she's in Dune, but also she is an old actress who has been in many, many English and French movies over the course of her long career.
Oh, cool. Wait, where did you watch this movie, by the way? Did you download it or find it in like a theater?
I watched it in a movie theater.
Oh, okay.
Because I live in New York City, and I can find nearly any movie that's still in a theater if I want to.
You bastard.
That's true. Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, you probably would have some difficulty finding it in a theater if you don't live in a major city, but whenever you can get to it, whenever it's on VOD, or if you can, I would never advocate illegally downloading a movie ever. But yeah, whatever you can do to get a look at it, I would definitely recommend it. It's a fantastic movie and very, very, I was expecting it to be kind of schlocky because I had heard that, and I was not prepared for the degree to which it went for it. So, try to be ready, but you won't be.
Nice.
I
like that. I'm going to recommend, a couple small things. So first off, still blazing through Curb. Just got to season 10, so we're pretty close to being like all caught up. Season 10's great. It has like a Me Too plot that's not amazing as like something that shows up in the beginning, but the overall plot of 10 is my favorite season plot, so I'm very excited for that to happen before my very eyes. Still watching more Southside, still watching Succession. Those are both great. Haven't really watched any movies. I've had a lot of times I'm like, all right, let me sit down and watch a movie. And then I end up watching Curb. Although, you know what I watched about half of and liked and just never got to finish was The Harder They Fall, the cowboy movie with Kang and Idris Elba and stuff. That's what it's called, right?
Ah.
I can't remember. It had one of those names where it's like, that could be the name of anything, you know? But I think that's what it's called.
Sounds right.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. It's pretty cool. It's got a lot of like, they talk weird. It's like cowboy movie talk, but it's just like sometimes that's a little hard to pick up. But I like it a lot. It just, I feel like I just wanted to go to sleep or something, so I didn't finish it. I wanted to recommend though a couple comics that I've been reading. Those are like my big recs. First of all, I wanted to catch up on. I never finished because I got through Dan Slott's She-Hulk, but then I want to look at the Charles Soule She-Hulk from 2014. So I've been reading that. That's pretty fun. It's her and Patsy Walker, and they're just kind of, I don't know, messing around. It's like what I like about the original Dan Slott ones, which is like, it's not like low stakes, but it's kind of silly. And those are great. Art's really weird, which is cool. Also reading, I read All New Hawkeye, which was a series by Jeff Lemire. I think I talked about this last week, but I finished that up. It's like a 5-issue series and a 6-issue series, but they're kind of the same story. And they're told over different times, and like the art is really cool. And also, if you want like an introduction to some of the characters that you may meet in this like season, basically swordsman. If you want to figure out what swordsman's deal is, and you don't want to read comics from like the 70s, this is a good. And I think I don't know if they like completely retconned like Hawkeye's origin, but I do think they probably streamlined a lot of it here in some flashbacks that make it pretty helpful. So I'd recommend that to people. The other thing, so those are both things that I'm reading on their app. I do want to recommend something I have like a physical book. It's new last week. It's called Wonder Woman Historia. Have either of you guys heard about this?
Heard of?
No.
It's wild. So it's a series. It's by DC. It's part of their Black Label line. Apparently, it was one of the original Black Label books that they announced, and then I guess it got put on the back burner because I'm sure it took forever to put together. And also, they just couldn't stop printing that Batman's dick comic, and like they were like, everything goes on the back burner except Batman's dick. They haven't finished this one yet, but like there's like lots of really, really detailed art. So Batman's dick could be in this, but I doubt it. It's like the story of the Amazons. Yeah.
I want you to know that I'm using all my willpower not to follow up on that because we should wrap up.
You know the Batman's dick thing?
Listen, we got to move on.
All right. Google No, don't Google Batman's dick, but like look it up. Look up DC Black Label and then Batman, and I'm sure it'll be the first thing that comes up. Anyway, it's a very beautifully illustrated book that's the history of the Amazons. It's insanely colorful. It's like it's wild, and like look up one page and you'll get it. It's a big book too. It's like the size of a children's book, like wider than a normal comic, but it's like compared to like a $3 or $4 or $4 or $5 comic, it's only $8, so it's like a steal. If you can find it at your comic book store, definitely pick it up because it's awesome. Yeah. What are we doing next week, you guys?
We're gonna put up a poll.
I mean,
lie to everyone.
We could do a poll.
We listened to the last poll.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't hate Daredevil.
I
even
think
though
we
it's
could,
not even kind of related.
Yeah, like I mean, Daredevil is technically in the MCU now, according to Kevin Feige. Although it's unclear what Marvel stuff is, but like that's a thing.
We've never done the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
I doubt it. When would it come up?
I gotta just do a Google real quick. It's pretty easy to Google what we've done. We're so Googleable
because we're just at the top of every search engine because we're so popular and everyone loves us.
Yeah, the SEO is so good.
That's right.
I guess not. I guess we haven't done Daredevil. So
yeah, I mean we could do that. I don't even know. We could do Spider-Man 1 and 2, like we were saying. We could do like if we wanted to be good SEO children, we would do Spider-Man 1 and 2, but if we want to be chaotic, there's a lot of other options. We could do Spy Kids 3D,
We could do Spy Kids 3D.
Maybe it's time for that. Who knows? We'll take suggestions because I'll try to put this one out pretty quickly. DJ, got anything to plug?
Classic Roses and Rejections plug, as always, for the kids. That's all I got.
Diggins, what about you?
I have my usuals, so a little perspective at substack.com, and I stream sometimes at twitch.tv/thisisanOddName. Did I mention last week about my review of House of Gucci going up on the Pop Break?
I think you did, yeah.
Well, this time I have my review of episode 4 of Hawkeye going up on the Pop Break, so go read that one now.
Wonderful. Yeah, I just put out a video about how 2021 was the year of the Speedster, which I think holds up. I think there's maybe one other thing that you could say 2021 was the year of but I didn't want to say it because it spoils something. So maybe we'll get to that one later. What was I gonna say? So more videos and stuff in the future. Definitely want to do a fan casting Keanu video. Someone suggested that. It's like, who should he play in the Marvel movies? Because he says he wants to be in them, and I have a lot of good ideas. And we came up with an amazing pitch for Free Guy 2 on my Patreon the other day, which, like, if they don't do it, they're crazy. It's absolutely genius. But I was gonna say I'm doing a live stream on Saturday night, I believe. I would double check this. It'll be in my Twitter. With Tim from Hello Future Me, a bunch of other YouTubers. It's his annual live stream where he plays a video game for charity and stuff. I think this year is... I think he was waffling between a couple. I think he may have ended on Horizon Zero Dawn, but either way, it's 24 hours. I'll be on there for some of the hours, definitely not all 24, but if you keep track of me on Twitter, you figure out where, like when I'm going to be on. So that's like a thing that's going on this week. That's all I got, though. Wow, so many matrices.
Woo!
Amazing. All
so
right.
many matrices.
So many matrices, yeah. And on that note, until next week, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Woohoo.
Woohoo!
Bye, we love you.